We're supposed to be live. I'm not sure what everything's working. Are we live?
Not
There
yet.
could be. There could be a small delay.
Yeah, there should be. Okay, yep, we are live.
We are live. Oh my god! It's my YouTube debut.
Yay.
There are so many problems with this. I am so annoyed.
I mean, that's how it works, right?
I don't know. It looks like everything's working.
Microphone seems to be good.
I think my audio levels look good.
Yep.
Yeah, so we should be good, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Decrease a little bit of the background.
Yeah, I think we're good. I don't know whether the chat is gonna work. I'm gonna just test it out here.
Yeah, okay.
Just to it looks like it's working. Did I get a message out? Can you take a
Let me see message.
Oh yeah, I can
Yes,
see
there
it.
you
All right, that looks fantastic. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the worst debut you'd probably find on YouTube.
I
Like-
mean,
Like I'm about 90% sure that you would probably find some 16-year-olds who are probably doing a better job than I am.
oh, that one, yes.
Yeah,
But-
16-year-olds are scary these days.
Are we just gonna start talking like we're absolute boomers now?
I think that's kind of unavoidable.
That is true.
So welcome, if anyone's watching, because I don't know who is. But we're just gonna do this and have some fun, because I haven't done this in a very, very long time. I need a warm up.
Yep.
So good morning, everybody. I think the volume. Hi, Nathaniel.
Oh, hey Nathan.
Oh. Hey.
Hope you're doing well.
Is Mr. Tanuki's friend. Bump. Anyways, oh man, I probably should mention this really silly thing. We wanted to start, or rather, I wanted to start over an hour ago. I'm like legit. I wanted to start over an hour ago.
Uh-huh.
Like I originally scheduled it at 8 o'clock last night. Oh, thank you. Good to know. I originally scheduled this thing. Good to know that the volume's okay. So like I originally scheduled this thing at 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, and I know we talked about this.
Yes.
We were supposed to start at 7.
Yeah.
Like you were supposed to come by at 7.
By at 7, yeah.
And we would have everything ready. We would
Yes.
have everything ready. We
Yes.
tested out everything. And what happened was that the silly part was both of us overslept.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am staying in this hotel, and that I plugged in my phone into the wall, charging it up. Turns out for whatever reason it stopped charging, and so my phone just died overnight, and so the alarm didn't wake up at all. And yeah, I usually wake up at like 6:30 in the morning anyway, but this time around I woke up at 7. Time difference. That's why. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Like it is crazy. Then there is this whole like then on top of that, we had a couple of technical difficulties. My laptop decided to act up on me today. But like no joke, it is silly how like maladjusted my device is today. Like it just really decided to like, yeah, what? No, we're gonna have a field day today with you, and everything's gonna lag, and just like and funny thing, I really should share this one. The fact is, we started this, or rather, I started this, wanting to do a 3-camera stream. Like we would have one where everyone will be seeing this hand cam thing that is right in front of us. Yeah, it's a hand reveal. But there's this whole that's that whole thing, and then there's this whole other thing where we were supposed to have 2 cameras, one for like my face, one for
Me.
his face, and we had this whole thing we wanted to plan out and we wanted to do, and the phones are ready. The electrical phones are ready. The devices are ready. The tech is ready. Like as in we have the technology.
Yeah.
and dumbass me forgot to take into account I need a phone clamp to hold the damn thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you have the arm.
I have the arm. That's the weirdest part.
Okay,
I have the arm, but I don't
you
have the clamp.
Okay.
That's the weirdest thing to actually have missing. It's the weirdest thing. Like I legit have the arms for it, just not the clamps. It is so weird. Anyway, so yes, so that was one heck of a way to wake up this morning. Anyways, hope you slept well.
Quite good. Surprisingly, hotels in Geylang are not super dodgy.
That might, but yeah, that might have explained like why your whole thing wasn't like
Yeah, I know.
charging and things. It's like some weird Geylang stuff that just sabakut your way through, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So yeah, just a little bit of background and what we're going to do here today. We're going to be playing Magic the Gathering, and as hypocritical as it is, we're going to be shitting on Wizards of the Coast here today a little bit.
So
I think it's a bit. Oh God, I think there we go. Just kick that.
yeah, just
Kick it. Anyway, but yeah, we're going to be shitting on Wizards of the Coast a little bit. I know it's kind of a hot topic kind of thing, but I assure you it's nothing to do with it. This topic kind of had it coming for a while.
Yeah.
And the OGL thing is just such an interesting discussion that we want to just talk about it a little bit more. So we did this whole thing. We originally started this off wanting to do something simpler. We wanted to do a whole sort of podcasty, like your mic, my mic kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then what happened was that my backside got itchy. I just call it what it is. My backside got itchy, and I wanted to do something a little bit more different. I wanted to do something a bit since MT here, and I don't want to dox anybody.
It's fine.
I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. So MT here had this whole thing where my stream chat isn't working properly. Oh, okay. I just realized that. Yeah, because all right, that's gonna be weird.
Okay.
No, because so the chat. Sorry, just as a quick aside, yeah. Before I know this is, I'll come back to that issue a little bit. Let me just finish the story. So yeah, so we were supposed to. My backside got itchy, and I was like, "Hey, let's play some Magic."
Yeah.
Because we do this. We've done this a number of times where one of us would splurge on some packs, and we would just hey, I have a couple of rounds of draft and seal because it's fun.
Yep.
The more interesting part of it was that both of us forgot that this weekend was the weekend for the release. For the pre-release for Phyrexia, the new Phyrexia, and the thing about this one was that so I actually originally bought Dominaria Remastered for this session.
Yeah,
I actually had that, and we forgot about it. Like there was a pre-release. So yesterday, I actually managed to get my hands on a couple of boxes of pre-release draft sets, and this literally has never been opened.
Yep.
So I literally just got this. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to be playing a couple of rounds. You're going to see us build our decks here. And then what happens is that the winner gets to open the pack, and it's just pure glory reasons. None of us takes anything back. If the cards are worth anything, we might sell it, whatever else, and use it to do this a little bit more. But the truth of the matter is that this is just us being silly.
Yeah. I have way more than enough cards in my apartment. I don't need more of them. Right?
But yes, so that's the background for all this. Also, just as a quick aside, sorry, I get really easily distracted when I get flustered over some issues. So one of the issues right now that we're having in chat, or at least the chat that's on screen versus the chat that's on YouTube itself.
Yeah.
The chat on stream is actually streaming from my Restream chat, which for some reason has trouble linking to YouTube. I haven't really figured out the tech issues there. There's a ton of issues here, and this layout is so temporary. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm just going to be trying to figure out and try to add myself onto, because I usually do this on Twitch, but I wanted to move this to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so let's do this. So let's open boxes and we just talk as we go along and see what cards are interesting as we go along. All right. So cool.
Yeah, I was actually like pretty going like since I booked the trip, so I don't live in Singapore. So when I booked the trip here, I didn't realize it was there's the
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Nice.
that it's a pre-release. So I was like, oh, I get to miss the pre-release. So I guess this time around I don't get to miss the pre-release. And instead we have a little mini one here. Just wait. I was like in the new sort of pre-release boxes, they always have these like tokens that you can. I know that we have like a lot of dice on the side and stuff.
Dice.
Dice.
Pet peeve.
Dice.
I'm sorry, it is a pet peeve.
Oh, good. But when you're in the pre-release itself, or if you're at home and stuff like that, super helpful.
This is kind of nice.
Yep.
What are these?
Maybe just tokens, like generic tokens.
We'll just figure out, like, if we need it, we'll just reach for it off screen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the dice looks cool.
Yes.
The dice looks real cool.
Yep.
Now, I'll be honest here. I personally prefer this one. So this is one, like, I have a bunch of old MtG dice as well. I don't play actively anymore. I do this only once in a while. This is one really old one. I don't even know where it's from anymore.
Yes, I don't know that one.
Yeah, but I really like it because I do like this sort of semi-transparent feel to it. I like how it feels aesthetically.
Yeah.
But this is definitely better. I've seen sort of weirder ones. They had a couple of ones where it's like the red and green one.
Yeah,
like
it's really hard to see some of the numbers, which is just really bad design.
Yeah, I swear at some point, right, it's a driving test, right?
Yeah.
Like at some point it's a colorblind test and you're just like screwing around with people going like, hey, you know what? Let's see whether you can read this.
Yes.
So put that aside.
Yep. So we have 6 booster packs because it's sealed. And aside from the dice, we also usually get a divider, and then we would also get a rare foil a lot of the time.
Oh, that's nice.
So I get Norn's Wellspring whenever PJ.
Hey, I got Masticore.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we know who's winning this one. Not. Masticore is always really good.
Yeah, it is.
5 on a 5/5 first strike.
At the beginning, we all keep sacrifice Argentum Masticore unless you discard a card.
Yeah.
It's a standard Masticore thing. When you discard a card this way, destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls you. Mana value less than equal mana value of discarded card. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to play this?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So yeah, my one less powerful in general, but whenever a creature you control dies, put an oil counter on the Wellspring. So oil counter in this set is a new thing, but it basically is just this particular card have X counters on it, whether it's called charge counters previously or oil counters, whatever, it doesn't matter, just different counters. Anyway,
cool. So I'm taking from your phrasing on this one.
Yeah,
I want to put a couple of things on the table. One of it is that I was a pretty big Magic fan.
Yep.
I followed quite a bit of the lore in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much like the instant when Planeswalkers became a larger thing.
Yeah.
I dropped off a little bit and I wasn't quite following as much.
Yeah.
But I get a feeling from what you were saying though that, like, do you know about the lore behind Phyrexian oil?
So the whole thing about Phyrexia is that they sort of corrupt the world Mirrodin through it started out with the oil.
Correct.
Right.
So the way Phyrexia works is that every part is Phyrexia. So everything, including even a single drop of oil, is essentially Phyrexia.
Right, yeah.
So as long as a single drop of oil exists of Phyrexia, right, it can be reborn. So that was kind of, I think, the premise for Mirrodin, like how a single drop of oil ended up on Mirrodin and ended up corrupting all the stuff there.
Yep.
I bring this up in part because I was looking at this, and they actually did in one of the novels in the early years. Yes, Magic has novels. They actually sort of alluded to a lot of the layers and what each of the layers of the world is supposed to look like, feel like. And yeah, it's really nice that they've expanded on it quite a lot.
Yeah, I think they actually did quite a bit of world building for this one. I remember in the preview release or whatever they had where Wizards had. They actually sat down together with some of the designers and talk about what does the world look like, including things around languages and stuff like that. Because I don't know if we'll see some of them. There will be some cards in Phyrexian language.
Yeah.
Which, honestly speaking, for playing is really annoying.
Yes,
But for
would be
collecting, it's pretty nice.
It will be a nightmare for all of us. I also really like this. This is going to be a really small and tiny little thing. And by the way, as I said, we're not. I started this off saying that we're going to shut on Wizards of the Coast. We've been singing praises like nobody's business. This is just silly. But
I mean, they're
giving credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I really like this though. But believe it or not, like they literally just guided you on how to make a freaking pre-release deck.
Yes, 17 lands,
Correct.
15 to 18 creatures.
Yeah,
it's actually a very good. And it even has the curve. I didn't realize they have this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually super useful for people who have just started out. Very basic, simple heuristics of how to put together a limited deck.
Exactly. Because even for me, like I know for a fact I've made these mistakes before. So it's real nice that they actually have something like this, that like any beginner who's going to go in for the first time, especially if you bring a friend, bring a brother, bring a sister, whoever else is going to come into play, they are going to be like, they're going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And at least with this, you don't have to tell them about mana curves. You're like, hey, here's a guide, just follow it and figure out how you want to play this.
Yeah. Because limited is the most difficult part. I think that in terms of introducing people to the game, limited is probably the most difficult format.
Well, okay, I think there's a debate to be had there, but that's a little besides today's discussions. Because I do think that depending on, like, limited is a time draft, like a time it's a race, is a time test, time challenge, but it is also, however, limited, meaning that you have less cards you need to give a shit.
That is true.
So there's a bit of a give and take in that space. So anyways, all right, so let's open our packs and see what we have.
We open it.
I also want to do a thing, like as we open it, let's talk about, like, let's just show our rares. Let's do the nice thing and just show up. I'm so sorry, by the way. This is gonna be so weird because MT has like no way, like it's harder for him to tell if his stuff is in frame.
Oh, am I?
No, you are perfectly in frame. I'm just saying that it's harder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah,
because I was just double checking.
Yeah, there is a bit of a delay. It's a first time for all of us. It is first time. They're wooden.
Vehicle.
Oh, it's a vehicle frame.
Yeah, it's a vehicle frame.
Oh god.
So some of the pet peeves that I know one of my friends have on this is that, like, a lot of Phyrexian creatures look like they're metallic because they do craft like metals and stuff into their shit, but they're not artifact creatures.
Right.
But then some of them are considered artifact creatures.
Right.
Visually, it's near impossible to tell which one's artifact creatures and which one is not.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a legendary creature, Slobad, Iron Goblin.
So Slobad was in the original Mirrodin, and my friend will correct me about this. Memnarch, I think, which was the original bad guy, was collecting like all different races to see which one they can imbue the spark, the what do you call it? The spark for planeswalking.
Right.
And they brought like elves and all these things, and the one who ended up getting it is the goblin.
Yeah.
But then he had to sacrifice his spark to actually bring up the last of the suns out of the 5. And so he was one of the big legendary creatures in the original ones.
As a point of reference, Alexander is asking, where are we playing? We're playing at a secret hideout. We're playing at a $10 million secret lair
Yes.
that we've quietly built. It's
Yeah.
under the worst place on earth.
I mean,
Because we had to build underground, because overground the land cost would have just costed an arm and a leg,
yeah, let's
and
not
we
go
already used that on Light Magic.
there. Yeah. Okay, so I got also a legendary creature, blue red, 7 mana. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play this, but
Right.
Ovika, Enigma Goliath, Phyrexian Nightmare, flying. What does it do? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a goblin, where X is the mana value of that spell. They gain haste by a turn. Okay, so it is a very powerful card. It's just a question of whether or not it's a set where 7 mana is a big mana.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't read mine. Sacrifice an artifact. Slowbat gets sacrifice an artifact and add an amount of red equal to the sacrifice artifact's mana value. Spend a mana when you cast artifact spells or activate activate abilities or artifacts. So it'd be great if like there's a bunch of charge skill abilities and all that, and it gets spent out, and hey, I have nothing else to do with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, it's a 3 mana 3/3, so that's also something.
I find it fascinating that there's a special creature type called Phyrexian Goblin. Now we talk about subspecies of creatures.
Yep. You'll see some other ones later on as well. I always like the token cards.
By the way, guys, we're probably going to be real casual about this, so it's going to be a while, and part of the thing about like doing this slow is that we're supposed to be talking smack once again over the OGL and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
We've sort of become a little bit more obsessive with cards, but
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
As I said, we're still trying to figure out our way around on this thing.
I'll leave it up to you in terms of I guess like reining us in.
All right.
Because otherwise I can talk about the card sort of.
Ooh, I like my rat.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
I didn't realize they have some special art as well.
Yeah, they have some special art here and there. I've seen previews of this here and there. It's real. It's cute. It's real cute. That's all I'm gonna call it. Yeah. So, I don't know whether you know though.
So here's one of the special lands. That's
Oh,
really nice.
nice. I actually even like this already.
Oh yeah,
This is
yeah.
really, really nice. Funny story, and I'm gonna call this out. Like, the game I work for, we have a level background that looks exactly like this. And it was designed like 2 years ago. Like, it went out 2 years ago. It is so funny.
Yeah. I got the rare filigree Silex. It's a thing that's supposed to detonate and kill everything.
Okay, I got a rare land. Okay, I got a rare land.
Oh, nice.
I got a rare land. Yeah. So it's add 1 colors, pay 1, add 1 mana of any color. Ooh, okay, it's a color converter. That's nice. X tap Mycosynth Gardens become a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. Ooh. But it's no longer a land.
Yeah. That just becomes a creature.
Non-token artifact. So it becomes a copy of the artifact.
Yeah.
So it doesn't care anymore. So yes. But I mean, it can become any artifact. So strictly speaking, it's like anything. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out. By the way, side note, small pet peeve. I didn't know about this, by the way, because I didn't indulge in any previews at all at this point. I'm going to be reading practically every one of my cards over and over again after this as we talk, or when you are talking.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I can I say how much I hate the fact that there is punctuation now in my ability text.
Ability text, yes.
Like
I don't like the for Mirrodin. Oh, for Mirrodin, I guess.
For Mirrodin. Oh God, I can I get cancelled on my first stream already? Is there a risk of me getting cancelled on my first stream already? By the way, you can put your cards out a little bit more, and you'll be a little bit more credit.
Yes.
Yeah. For those who don't know, we actually have, and you can see hints of it, by the way. We actually have small frame markers on the corners of the table that we're playing on. To just sort of give us a sense of where, like, what's in frame, what isn't on frame. So yeah, but it is a first time for us. We are so lost. We are so lost. Peter Pan has no hope of finding us. So yeah, so while we're doing this part here,
Yes.
let's shift a little bit on OGL. So for those who don't know, and I've got a million of links inside the description of this video. There's actually, I really like the new land design. So I've got a shit ton of like links inside the description below, and it's all related to the OGL related thing. This has all been a DnD fiasco, but it ties in into the larger story and issues with Wizards of the Coast in the last 2 years, I would say. I don't want to sort of like go too deep into it, in part because I think that is sort of self-evident. Like issues with Wizards of the Coast itself is self-evident. But yeah, but I do want to talk about like stuff like, I mean, just all cards on the table. Did you cards on the table? Did you know about the OGL, or like I mean, I know you D&D a little bit.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I guess just a little bit of background. I played D&D for maybe 10, 15 years now. Now the OGL is something that I'm not really familiar with, because when I played D&D, we never used any sort of setting that is a D&D setting. We use whatever access that we have to the SRD during the time. Yes.
White Sun Twilight.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
You gain X life. Create X1/1 colorless. For example, white artifact creature token with toxic 1. What the fuck is this? Okay.
So toxic. Do you know poison counters?
Yes.
Okay. So toxic basically goes, if you have toxic 1, if you hit a player, aside from normal damage, you put X amount of poison counters onto the player. There's toxic 1.
Oh, okay.
It'll be 1 poison counter.
So basically, it's Envenom.
Yes.
It's Envenom for poison.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yes. I'm so sorry.
No worries. So so while I'm very familiar with D&D and the SRD, the system reference document, because we have used that in the past, we never considered publishing anything along that line, because that's whatever. One of my campaigns did end up being turned into a video game, but that again, that has nothing to do with that, because the setting is all original, the characters are all original, and it's just the gameplay. And we were using 4th Ed at the time. I'm one of the few people who actually likes 4th Ed. So there's that.
Yeah, as though I need more reasons for people to cancel this channel.
Yes, well, it's okay. I'm a guest in this channel, so they can bash me, drive up the comment, and feed the almighty algorithm. So yeah, so familiar with D&D, OGL, not so much, but I've been reading through the all of the discourse that's happening and all that kind of stuff.
On that note, sorry, just a quick side note. Karumonix, the Rat King, Toxic 1. Other rats you control have Toxic 1. When Karumonix enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of rat cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom in your library in a random order. The funny thing is, I keep having this funny feeling that specifically because they said rat cards, like, is there a rat spell or a rat artifact?
Spells, I'm not sure, but there's definitely
Hi Andy.
Hey Andy.
Yeah.
There are definitely like cards that turns other things into specific creature types.
All right.
So yes, it's a possibility.
So yes, so let's have an army of rat cards.
Yeah.
Alright.
So if you play commander, you can have this as your commander, and you have the card Relentless Rats, which says you can have as many
Yeah,
relentless
no.
rats.
I know Relentless Rats.
Yeah.
Relentless Rats is an old friend.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
tried
yeah.
to-
So you can have that and Relentless
Try to
Rat
do
and
a
just
thing
have fun with
Relentless
that.
Rats. Yeah, there was this other version of it that was like I can't remember what it was, but I remember it was like I have the attack equal to the number of rats in
Yeah.
play. Yeah, I remember trying to build a deck on that one. It was the funniest thing I've ever tried to do. I think from day one it was always a bit of a jank.
Yeah. So what do you think of the whole OGL thing, or rather, sort of like, what made you interested? Because you don't necessarily play DnD.
Yes, I know. I've always been interested in the idea.
Yeah.
I've just never been able to secure a play session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit too busy right
Yeah.
now, so
Yeah.
it's been a bit of pain. But yeah, it caught my eye because, strangely enough, it's because of YouTube. There was anything. Hi, Damien. Like there was this whole thing. Basically, at some point, when you get spammed with enough YouTube recommendations, you start getting a bit curious.
Yeah.
So I started getting spammed by a lot of DnD content for some reason. I think the algorithm somehow figured out that, hey, you like Wizards of the Coast stuff. You might be into this.
Yep.
By the way, on that small note as well, but I think this is an interesting exploration into the YT algorithm as well.
Yeah. So
a bit of a story here, yeah. So during Chinese New Year, I got a little hooked onto stuff from CoffeeZilla, and and in part because I think I was rewatching Dan Olsen's
the
guy
line
from
goes up.
Yeah, the line goes up.
Yeah, Folding Ideas.
Yeah, Folding Ideas. So what happens from there is that I got introduced CoffeeZilla, started watching a little bit more, in part also because of Logan Paul's little thing. So that was a whole thing. Then from there, I got introduced Alpha Investments.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
And from Alpha Investments, I think I started getting more and more like Wizards of the Coast related stuff. So it was really it was a very interesting sort of like I don't know what to call it, but it's sort of like this mental train of interests.
Yeah.
From scams that eventually led me down to the OGL, which is somehow
Did a spam?
which is somehow thematically relevant.
Is it though? Is it? So what do you sort of overall think about the whole fiasco?
All right, so I think it's very clear. I think it's very clear where some of the conversation started. Like this is me coming in as a guy who like has been in some conversations with higher ups who are looking at trying to manage and settle monetization and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go drop names or be specific on this for obvious reasons. So please don't try. But basically,
you mean you like your job and don't want to get? Sorry.
Yes. By the way, in case anybody did not know, this debut stream is indeed sponsored by my day job. They pay me, so you don't have to.
I do think that's a good one.
Oh, thank you. By the way, in case anyone wondered, that was not improv.
No.
Like that was so pre-planned. I had the joke in my head last night. I wrote it on the side because I wanted to do it. I didn't want to forget it. I wanted to do it with a voice.
Yeah.
It was already. I'm not good at improv.
That's just fine. Neither am I.
But yes. Anyway. So I think the conversation very, very likely started with with an investor call and higher ups going like, hey, I want to keep my job, and in order for me to keep my job, I need us to make buckets load of cash. And the problem here is that buckets load of cash for a company like Hasbro is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially considering how big it is, and it doesn't help when a company like Hasbro does not have enough stable revenue sources.
Mhm.
Like we are living in a world where toys are sort of like phasing out, and it's becoming more of a niche in comparison to digital entertainment. So less and less people are going into it, and one of the big things that's still handing in big sacks of cash for Hasbro is Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
Consistently,
and specifically Magic the Gathering.
Well, I think
a little bit.
I think a lot of everything that Magic the Gathering does is enough, because so that's the part, because Magic the Gathering is the one that's handing them money like hand over fist.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they also recognize, and this is where it links back to the OGL, which is they also recognize very quickly that WotC has access to this IP, this content that they are managing, which is this huge content that they're managing. It's played by everybody around the world. There's content coming out everywhere these days, becoming increasingly popular, but they are not making that money. They're not making. They're looking at the size of the entire value of RPGs and DnDs and things that are done under the DnD name.
Yeah.
And they are looking at it and going like, hey, we're not. There's so much stuff that is obviously linked, if not tied to DnD, and we're not making that money.
Yeah.
So that's where you hear lines like, "Oh, D&D is under monetized."
Yes.
So because of that, and because at the end of the day, Hasbro is such a large company, and they have to like, oh, hey, my left side is not making enough money. The right side has to compensate for it. Yeah. So the right side, which is WotC right now, they need to obviously like really, really overcompensate so that it evens out into a number that's somewhat reasonable. For them to look at the company. Keep in mind, and once again, this is also somewhat realistically like bound back to that same line that you hear some of them say about how they are focusing on the things that make money and they're dropping things that don't. The sad thing about that, it also potentially means that those who invested into Hasbro or those who are into Hasbro, because they're a toy company, you might see that phasing out like as a thing. But I'm just putting that out there as because it's a relevant point. So that's at least obvious to me, in case it's not obvious to you, where it all started. So stuff like, for example, even Magic 30, the fiasco behind the $1,000 proxies. God, that was a. I swear, if they dropped the price to about like $100 and increased the print run, and
they would have made back.
Yeah, I think they would have made back. Like $100. Like fixed sets of the Power 9, they would have made back.
Yeah. Like forget all the sort of Magic investors. Like when I say that, I mean like the Magic collectors who, really care about the value of things like Black Lotus and actually owns those cards. You can like. Yeah, I just feel like if they printed it at $100,
exactly,
those guys will not get hurt because the value of those cards is from collection,
right?
And you're giving it to the people who are playing Commander, which already has a sort of like semi.
Look, just call it what it is. They already proxy the fuck.
They already proxy a lot.
Yeah, they already proxy everything already. Anyway, give them the privilege of staring at the art.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine.
Right.
And everybody would have loved you except for a small,
really niche, really particular, collectors. Which to be fair to them, they're like, oh yeah, but we really like the original art. And we really wanted to make sure that it feels special. It's only available on this. I'm sorry, man. Like, dude, the game is so much larger than the handful of you guys. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. You have every right to feel the way you do, but at the same time, come on, guys. The game's 30 years old.
Yeah, and I think that is then becomes interestingly linked to also OGL. And we'll probably dive into this a bit later, but in terms of who is OGL for?
Okay, so that's exactly it, right? So that's the other part of the conversation that I haven't got quite into yet, which is
Yeah.
once you get past that thing, so the guys are going to sit down and they're going to go like, okay, how do we monetize?
Yeah.
We need to get some guy in here to monetize as much as we can. And if you're not familiar with the people behind the thing, and by the way, I'm going to avoid dropping a lot of names, partially because I can't remember all of them.
Yep.
There are just too many characters in the whole thing,
Yep.
and but the lead for DnD right now is making a huge move to try and push for DnD Beyond. And I'm sorry, the silence is just me trying to see whether the mic is picking up the lorry at a
yeah.
But anyway, do let me know if you hear a choo choo. Anyway, so yeah, so the huge thing. Sorry, what was I getting at? I lost my train of thought. Choo choo.
Choo-choo. Yeah, Damien here was just saying that original printing still hold their value, and look at the vintage toy market.
Correct, exactly.
Hasbro can really learn from, right?
Nah. Like so. I mean, like it's clear that it's a very different conversation. I think, of some degree. But yeah. Coming back, they're making a push for digital because, as I mentioned before, like you have this huge. Obviously, the market's shifting towards digital entertainment more than anything else.
Yep.
The subscription-based model is also one of the best things, and if they could provide a platform for you that you think it's worthwhile, everyone you'll just overwhelmingly out of sheer numbers would pay to just cover for everything. There are ways to scale and stack the monetization model to make it a little bit more meaningful and reasonable. But at the end of the day, like there were a lot of things where they would see all this potential for competition and potential for like secondary and tertiary markets that once again they can't control, and they feel like it's eating their pie, and they go like, okay, fine, we'll take that too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of I start off with wanting to do something that would put us ahead, like, okay, this is going to give me huge market share and everything else, and then after that, because the conversation is continuing over the monetization thing and everything else, they go like, hey, can we do this?
Yeah.
And then after that, they'll go, hey, can we do that? And then what about this? What about that? And all that kind of stuff. There's certain clauses that you can catch some very interesting concerns on their side, which some of them are legitimate for what it's worth.
Yeah.
A large part of it is about the fact that as they're trying to monetize DnD more, given that there's this huge link with every secondary and tertiary creator who's making content under the D&D banner, there's always this risk of things one person gives out looking very similar to something else that they are going to do.
Yeah.
And because that can happen, the guy from here, and they can't keep track of everything.
Yeah.
They need a way to keep track of everything. The guy from this side here is, this guy can come back and say, Wizard of the Coast, you stole from me.
Yeah.
You stole this idea from me. I want to sue you for all this money, this huge sack of cash that I think I'm owed. Because you have this much money, I want this money that I think is owed to me. Simply because you stole my idea. And the problem with that, obviously, is that, once again, it's because there's so many variations out there.
Yeah.
No one's tracking everything. So what does Wizards of the Coast do? They say, okay, hey, if you are going to be significantly large, and their only way of gauging this is by revenue. If you're going to be significantly large, I need you to come to me.
Yeah.
And
well, it seems like the camera has disconnected.
Oh, give me a sec. Is it because my
Did your phone die?
Oh, it's a phone.
Give us a moment, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Thanks for pointing out that out, Damien.
Yeah, it's happened before. I've had problems like this before. Is it working here?
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? Okay, give me a sec.
Wait.
Just need to properly restart this thing. Be something wrong. It could be a thing with the free version I'm using right now because I'm trying out a new app. So I'm trying out a new app, and the app has a thing. Like all apps, it has a thing. So I'm trying to figure out what this new app's thing is.
Something is happening.
Yeah, no worries. That's just means changing a second.
Okay.
Not linking for some reason. Sorry. Hey, I said the wrong camera. No, that's right. What's going on? Sorry, guys.
You wanna try the other camera?
No, I'm gonna do the smart thing, and this is going to restore.
Yeah.
Need a quick second to just restart the device while the device is restarting. Let me just continue this. It's going to turn into a podcast for a bit.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah. So as I was saying, they're worried about people coming back to sue them, and so they're saying, okay, hey, if you're big enough to become a problem, if we accidentally steal anything that's popular enough, that is out there in the public sphere enough, we need you to register with us and like just pay us a royalty.
Yeah.
So that's why if you see the later versions of the OGL, right, the later version of the OGL that they try and like, oh, here's the updated version, right? That version drops the royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they also recognize that like the royalty is not important to them. It was just like, oh yeah, hey, we can get away with it, and let's get away with it kind of thing. It wasn't important to them. What's important to them was trying to make sure that everyone recognizes that, hey, we want you to register with us and all that kind of stuff, you know? So that they would know where the lines are, and it's clear and it's obvious and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So that's what I think they were trying to get away with, or at least on some level there. Because they want to protect themselves from all these kind of things. And I don't know what a lot of you guys know this, by the way. This applies to game design as well. This applies to scripts as well, any creative work. I don't know whether you've heard this before, but like, for example, Mark Rosewater, I've heard it from a really, really old podcast. Used to listen to some of his stuff. He explicitly said it before, he's not allowed to look at, to process anyone's design suggestions.
Yeah.
And a lot part of that reason is obviously because you don't want a situation where someone can come back to you and say, hey, you're making fat loads of cash off my idea.
Yep.
Give me money.
Yes.
You don't want that situation.
Side note, I have big issues with you stole my idea argument,
right?
Because ideas are not the reason why things are. It's certainly a part of why something is good and successful, but originality, in my opinion, is overrated. Anyway, sorry.
No worries. No. It's a very valid point, and that's kind of. I mean, I have a slightly different opinion on that, but I think that's a discussion.
Yeah, that can be another whole thing.
Oh, it could be weird. Okay, that's weird. This is really weird. Oh, that's weird.
That should not.
I connected to the wrong one.
There we go.
All right.
Well, so was that it? Was that it? Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, so here's the funny thing though. I don't know whether we got disconnected. I hope we didn't get disconnected. I hope the system is smart enough that like small blips in connections doesn't cause anything.
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, we should be good. Good? All right, cool. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's a different point of discussion to get deeper into.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is I think that's where you sort of have to understand that like this whole conversation, at least company that's at the heart of this conversation, is an American company. And if you consider the nature of DnD and how it's managed and how this community works and everything else, how content is generated under the banner, it is so easy to mistake what is a Wizards of the Coast content and what isn't Wizards of the Coast content. It's so easy to mix those pools up. So much so that like if they make fat loads of any IP that they try to do, which is officially registered under Wizards of the Coast, they are worried that someone will come back out and say, hey, this is very similar to my homebrew, and I'm going to sue you for fat loads of cash.
I mean, but that's also like, okay, none of us here are actual legal professionals, so
in case you did not know this.
a lot of our stuff is going to be bullshit anyway. But probably the homebrews would need to actually like register under a trademark or whatever, because if that's, there needs to be some basis for them to be able to.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. So this one I can go into. I'm not a lawyer, so there could be updates to this that I'm not sure of, and I definitely do not know the nuances in arguing these kind of things on a local basis. Because obviously, remember that all law is local to some degree. So copyright is automatic upon creation as long as you can prove it. So the keyword here is always proving it. And this is why like everyone tells you to file with a copyright lawyer, because what happens is that as long as you have a filing, you can easily prove it. That's the whole point. A trademark is a very different thing. Trademark's very specific. And so here's the interesting thing. You can have MT donuts, like Mr. Tanuki donuts, right? And that could be a huge thing on your own. But if you did not file the trademark for Mr. Tanuki apparel for some reason, because, you know, hey, maybe you never thought about making donut-themed apparel, I can do that, and we're fine. The general idea for something like that is because sometimes the system recognizes that you might not be interested in every industry. For example, alternatively, would you be interested in, like if you're doing donuts, I think the last thing you want to try and do is to potentially do a brand of diarrhea medicines under that same brand. So you obviously wouldn't do that. And if someone for some reason decides to do that, then, well, conversations. So the point I'm trying to get here is that when it comes to copyright in particular, because it's the point of creation, you don't technically need official filing as long as you can prove it. So if, say, for example, if some weird errant email predated to it that can be reasonably conceivably be seen by Wizards of the Coast people, right? And it could be reasonably conceivably like passed along the line to those people who care, then there are grounds for that lawsuit. So that's kind of like the part that they are worried about, because if you've published it like, and 5 people have played it and you put it up online, you now suddenly have a case that can reasonably be considered to be litigatable, because if it's online, you can't tell who has seen and who hasn't.
Again, let's just accept that, just so that we don't spend too much time, I feel like, on this. Is right?
Sorry, I'm staring at a bomb and I want to play it so bad. I got Zopadel, Hunger Dominus.
Oh yes, the Dominus are good. But it's also what, 7 mana?
Yeah, it's 7 drop. It's a 7 drop. And the funny thing is, it's like literally reach. At the beginning of each, this is the definition of a teaming card. Reach. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control at the end of turn. double green, double Phyrexian green. Sacrifice 2 other creatures, put an indestructible counter on Zopandrel Hunger Dominus.
Yeah. So it's a cycle. So every color have a dominance.
Yeah.
But yes, so just to move on from that point, because that's also something that can end up being discussed to help in back, is there is going to be some flexibility in terms of what is the original idea versus what is what can be people can sue for. Because otherwise there will be a lot more suing happening in the world.
Right. So one of the biggest, obviously one of the biggest, two of the biggest like thresholds are first and foremost like how well is it documented and how much you can improve it. Then that's number one. Number two, because you the thing is that like just to be clear about this one, if say for example you published in 2001, for example, and you say that, oh, I posted this up in 2000 and I have the post to show it. The problem is that you don't know if they have prior documentation, right, that said that they were already discussing it back in 1998 or something like that. So because you don't know these kind of things, and if you just jump into it, you can potentially spend a lot of money and for no reason. That comes to the second point, which is the other threshold, which is just purely because of money.
Yes.
Like you are literally stopped because of money.
So that would be a concern. And anyway, for Wizards, at least for the DnD side, they also know that allowing people to make content out of for free, in a sense, it's basically almost like free marketing for them as well.
It is.
And again, I don't know the actual like numbers in terms of how much, like with the amount of revenue cap that they has, not cap, floor that they have for the OGL, the no longer to be OGL. I don't know how many people that actually affect.
Well, okay, so which goes back down to the big problem about the purpose of the OGL and why it was such a huge thing. So and some of it, some of this argument is heavily related to that same conversation that like why Magic would have to do all this. So Legal Eagle did a great piece on this. The fact is you can't sort of claim ownership, any meaningful ownership over game mechanics. You can talk about it over terms of like trademarking, like symbols and all that kind of stuff, but you can't technically do it over over game mechanics. So the thing about it though is that this needs to be litigated, meaning that no one has ever litigated, right? Because hey, the law functions on precedent. You can't just say it's like, oh, if you murder someone, the punishment will be so and so, but if you never enforce it, then like it means nothing. Right? Then, but once you litigate it, once it's been proven and once it's been gone through a process, everyone will point to it and say, hey, this was the result. And whether they agree or disagree and like argue over it, that's a separate conversation, but like, we have precedent to talk about. So that's how law works in general. So in that note, right, on that note, right, so what you do, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit because I'm shuffling between stuff. So what happens from there obviously is this whole thing where because it's never been litigated, you are in sort of a legal gray area because somebody has to be litigated. And the problem is that everybody stares at it and goes, looking at it and go, Hasbro is a multi-billion-dollar company. And I'm a guy that needs to crowdsource for like $15,000, like I don't have the legal fees for this BS, you know?
Yeah, and I suspect that it is going to be a difficult case, because if it is a relatively easy case to go through, then there is somebody with money who would be very much willing to help.
Correct, which is exactly where
I think there was a case around that.
No, but that's exactly what the Pathfinder guys, I can't remember their name.
Pazio.
Pazio and a bunch of them were so up in arms and saying like, yeah, I'd be happy to come in and litigate the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because even the people who were behind it, people who drafted it, they were actively, like, they're still around and alive.
Yeah.
And they're actively going like, I don't know, I know what the intent of the word of the law is. And we all drafted it with this very specific thing in mind. So if you are going to argue with anyone over what the law is intended for, then hey, I'm right here.
Yeah,
you know? So if that matters at all. So that's the whole thing.
But let's say that the OGL doesn't have a very big sort of legal precedent, and therefore it's sort of
right. But that's kind of that was originally part of why the OGL was intended for anyway. Because the original OGL was basically supposed to say, hey, this is explicitly okay for you to use. We're telling you that you're not going to get into any trouble if you try to use this. This is actually what really got me into wanting to discuss this thing more than anything else, because it's never occurred to me how useful this simple assurance to content creators can be. And that's kind of like one of the big reasons why DnD has become so big, because like they're actively saying, because some guy back in the day, Ryan Dancy, actually, in fact, this is the only name I'll probably name drop because his name is linked in the comments there, came out and said, hey, if you want people to use this system and you want the community to embrace it completely, you have to let them know that it's really okay to do whatever the F they want with this thing and run wild with it, you know, and let them survive off it if they have to, and make this huge thing out of it. And I mean, hey, like, you can, like, I think what, 20 years, has it been 20 years? I think 20 years since that day, and I think that the results speak for themselves, how important that assurance really is. It's not like they couldn't have litigated it and found a result and all that kind of stuff, but this literally, this one document basically said, hey, let's not go there. I'm going to guarantee you on the spot right now that it's going to be fine.
So I think Nathan just mentioned that, you know, to check Legal Eagle, and that it can't copyright ideas in the States. So I think that it is. So I think we've both watched the Legal Eagle video. Great video, great guy. I think that yes. If you are using the video itself covers that you cannot put together a legal case to go against if it's pure game mechanics.
Yes, right. So you can't. So what happens is that you can't claim ownership over an idea. You can't claim ownership over its expression.
Yes.
So what happens is that, and this is going to be the nuanced part. That's why it's partially, it's so the OGL is so important. So what happens is that when we talk about an expression, right? We are talking about a case of, and keep in mind, this is based on my interpretation of what Legal Eagle has posted up and a lot of other people have posted up. But I think there's some grounds to this understanding. I think it's really reasonable, which is, so you have this situation where people are going to go, okay, when you meet a monster, let's say, for example, the expression in the expression on the book, the explicit expression on the book says, when you meet a monster, roll a d6. If you have a d6, if you roll a 3, kill the monster. For example, if this was the exact line, I know it's not a line, but let's just say for sake, this is the line. So what happens? That is the expression. The idea here is that the idea that you're talking about is when you do an encounter, you roll a die, and if you get the right result, the monster dies, right? So you can argue that you can change the number result and it will be a different expression. You're not wrong. That's true. That's exactly why you can't claim ownership over a mechanic.
Yeah.
Because if you try to claim ownership over the mechanic, then like where does the line draw itself? Like your balancing is a thing itself. So every form of it that might change, right, is going to be a thing. So you can't claim ownership over that mechanic. But what you can claim ownership is the sentence that expresses it.
Yeah. And I think it needs to be a rather specific sentence and not a sentence that can be just sort of like for example, for DnD, it would be, in the beginning of an encounter, roll initiative.
Oh yeah,
right.
But no. So that's exactly it. But more, I use a really short sentence to illustrate the idea. The thing is that the point here is that if you use this exact sentence, reprint it exactly as it is, people can sue you for that because that is copyright infringement. Okay. Now I use a really short sentence as an example because I don't want to give you a paragraph text as I'm saying this out loud. But because I can't repeat it. But the point is that when you have a document like DnD where the entire book is telling you what the mechanics are supposed to be, and you want to express it anyway, and you lift the paragraph off because, hey, why wouldn't I? Paraphrasing may be confusing and create problems and all that kind of stuff. So you do that, and you say instead, I'm going to do, for my homebrew, I will change the names of the tribes and I will change the names of the specific characters and all that kind of stuff. The thing is that people are going to look at that and go like, hey, with these exceptions, it's word for word exactly the same as what you find in the manual. I'm going to sue you for this. Because keep in mind, if you did the same for a novel, they can't sue you for that.
It'll be there. There's probably some amount of threshold, and there will be some amount of discussion in terms of whether or not that it's conceivable for somebody to write a certain sentence.
Right. Exactly. Exactly the same way. So, but the point I'm trying to get here is because that is gray, the OGL basically says, no, it's not gray anymore. Stop arguing with yourselves. Freaking use it. As long as you don't touch this small chunk of things that we create that we are going to copyright on our own and we are going to monetize off, you can take the system and run wild with it.
No, totally agree with that. And I'll start talking a bit more just so that you also have the time to
thank you
to build the deck.
I need to read this.
Is that now that I'm starting, my brain just kind of go so in terms of the whole idea, I'm just letting
being silent doesn't help.
No, that is true. But I'm wondering whether or not that if you speak, the gate sort of opens and then regardless. Anyway. Because it's really interesting when you think about it from exactly that, right? That a rule book is a creative thing. People who have written it have taken the work to choose the right sentences, to choose the right words, and to put everything together to be able to communicate something as best as possible. And that's where the SRD, the system reference document, is a great thing. And having we just call you by name or
use BimG.
BimG, okay.
Just
So as BimG's mentioned,
I name drop my name sometimes too. There's no doxing here. My face is gonna be this is I call this a hand reveal, but it's a joke.
So as BimG has mentioned, the whole idea is that it gives expressive. It allows people to, without a doubt, create content based on the documents. And I think that's very important. And we're seeing that more and more. We're seeing more and more of that today with which games specifically says in some parts of their game, it's like, hey, streaming content with this is fine. I think Minecraft have that, and I think a number of other sort of games have that very explicitly written, so that there is, no issue or no doubt that people have to even think about, whether or not that they can stream something and have any issues with it.
Right.
Because there's a lot of also content generated by there's also a lot of content that's based on DnD that's currently being done online. People playing campaigns and all that with Roll20, Critical Role being sort of the big one. And with, I know that the OGL doesn't cover like the translation of the games into the virtual and sort of other types of content.
Sorry, phrase is that it doesn't explicitly.
Yeah.
Because at the time they didn't conceivably think that anyone would do it.
Yeah. Correct. So it's one of those things where, it really is nice to have. It's sort of like how in the old days of Star Wars before, I should not have said that. That opens the gate to a lot of things. But before the Star Wars sort of empire, unintended, have been acquired by Disney. There's basically Lucas going like, hey, you guys can write about Star Wars and stuff, and sometimes we'll make it into like quote unquote canon, and that's cool. That gives explicit sort of permission, and which is important. So Damien just says that you could copyright game terms.
No, you can't. So you need to be specific here. You can't copyright game terms. You trademark them.
Yeah. So
I'm being very, very specific here because, as I said, copyright is specific to creative works that like it's the body of the work itself.
Yeah.
Trademark, as the name implies, is what you trade in. So it's specific to specific terms and like stuff like that. Patents are for methods, in case anyone's curious. It's relevant. The distinction between trademark and copyright can get a little confusing.
Yep.
And I will go ahead and concede that a lawyer can probably come up and say, "Hey, Jared, you're completely wrong." Yeah, I just boxed myself.
That's right.
Yeah, but you're completely wrong. Good luck, have fun with that. And like I can tell you I've listened to some lawyers argue with it, and I legit think some lawyers don't even know the distinction well enough themselves because they might not be copyright lawyers themselves. But yes, from what I've absorbed from many different sources, it is likely that it's more of a trademark than a game term is more likely a trademark than it is a copyright.
Yeah, I will just refer to, I think Tom Scott has a very good video on the whole copyright stuff, about copyright on YouTube, but I think it covers a lot of these points, I think, quite well as well.
Oh god damn it. I don't have solutions. I don't have removers.
That's okay. That's okay. I think there's actually quite a lot of there should be a lot of common and uncommon removals in all of the colors. Whether they're really good or not is a totally separate conversation.
No, but the dumb part is the closest things I have.
Yeah.
I have a lot of toxic.
Yeah.
Like I'm really toxic.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have Britney Spears playing in my head, by the way.
Okay.
In case you're wondering at all.
Yes.
No one's asking. But anyway, but I have no direct removers. I am staring at a shit ton of like stuff going like, holy crap, this is annoying.
Yep. Just remember, toxic does not have death touch. Nor does it have infect.
Yes. Wait, what? Oh, toxic doesn't have infect.
Yeah, so it doesn't give, so it only affects the player.
Oh, okay.
So it gets poison, but it doesn't do the -1/-1 counters to creatures.
Assholes.
Well, infect as a mechanic was
Barokan.
annoying to play with. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, it's broken. I'm just going to call it out. Like it is weird and wrong.
I do like playing like infect used to be pretty good in modern. not anymore because Modern's just broken as a format. But having sort of that level of like, if you ever have your shields down,
Yeah.
there's like a 50-50 chance you're just gonna die. So it's always a fun thing. Yeah, imagine opening a black bomb and having near zero removal.
I know, right? Like there's nothing but pain in my heart right now. Like starting going like, oh. Like every other line, every second or third card I'm looking at, I'm like starting going like, oh, this hurts so bad.
Yeah. I know for the drafts, it's going to be a relatively aggressive format because of all the toxic, but sealed in general will be slower. So you do want to, have removals or counter spells or not a lot, just counter spells, not a lot, removals as much as possible.
Okay. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna take a gamble. We're not winning anything. It's fine. I'll keep telling myself that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it.
Yeah, just the fact that the internet remembers.
Yes, and I am. Come on, look at that layout. There is no shame to be like. There's no shame to stack on anymore. Like the stack is full.
Yeah. I actually want to see this and sort of let's check the deck with the building a pre-release deck. We'll go back to the OGL discussion.
Yeah.
But I just want to go through here. Okay, so we have building a pre-release deck guide by Wizard of the Coast here. Sorry, Damon just said that's what happened last night, and I green bomb with no flying killers as well. Lost against big flyers. Yeah, that's how it goes. So 15 to 18 creatures. Let's see how many creatures do I have. Not a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So based on that, I don't have enough creatures. Says 5 to 8 other spells, so that would be enchantment, artifacts, and all that stuff, which I do have a lot of. I have some skull bombs, some counter spells. I might get rid of some of them. Some draw spells and all of that. Pretty sure I have more than 5, but I don't think I have more than 8. And then 17 lands. Mana curve looks decent. I'm actually super low in the mana curve here, with mostly 2s. But even that's questionable because a lot of the 2s that I have are not sort of permanents. And then that will have sort of implications to that as well. So, but this is the blue-red deck, which has a lot more stuff triggering off of non-creature spells. So that's why I have a bit less creatures, a bit more spells. But I will sort of cut a little bit here. I think I have 25 cards and I want to bring it down to 23 to fit in. That's 17 lands. And I think if you're starting to play like limited, having this 17 land, if you follow only one thing in this building a pre-release deck, follow the whole 17 lands thing. It'll make your life much, much better than having less than that and you get mana screwed a lot.
Yeah, BMG never follows.
Yeah, I know.
I like to live life dangerously.
That's fine. That is fine. But yes, this is pretty good. And yes, when in doubt, ask for advice at a pre-release. It tends to be extremely casual, so do ask people for pre-release, for help in the pre-release.
Judge.
Yeah. There will definitely still be some annoying people who's like, oh, why are you getting other people help? But they can just sort off.
Yeah, there you go, suck a lemon.
Run the big gamble, 16 lands.
Oh my god! What variants?
Actually, you would have liked the Brothers War,
Really?
because it's actually a set that's super aggressive. So a lot of people are running like up like between 14, 15 lands a lot.
Okay, I know I'm gonna end up building. I'm just gonna gamble on it because
Yeah.
my gut is telling me something.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try.
Go
We'll
for it,
see
go
where we
for it.
go. I'm like 90% certain I'm gonna regret this.
Yeah.
Like I am going to regret this so bad.
Yeah. So in terms of the OGL, sort of bringing it back to that, looking at the whole entire fiasco, right? And I do agree with you that this started out obviously from a investor call. Let's say that I do have some background on how a company is run and all of that stuff, and dealing with investors and management and all that stuff. And absolutely agree as well that it is all about making sure, because Hasbro is not doing well. Wizard of the Coast is one of the few of its subsidiaries who are actually making money.
Hand over fist.
Hand over fist. Yeah.
I feel like that needs to be said.
Yeah. Like Wizard of the Coast is doing super well, and it's probably like Hasbro is probably like it is already making like its investment back like over the next few years. So as a looking at from a business perspective, did Hasbro do a good job in acquiring Wizard of the Coast? Yes, they did, because otherwise they'll be absolutely screwed at the moment. But I think what it is and what they need to be careful around is the whole idea of how much can you actually squeeze out of Wizard of the Coast, because while Wizard of the Coast have very big followers and very dedicated fan base of whether that's Magic or DnD, that's still not, they don't have an infinite amount of support to provide. So a lot of the stuff that they've been doing, things like, for example, like let's talk a little bit about Magic. They've made quite a lot of different changes over the past 1 to 2 years. The biggest hoo-ha has always been the $1,000 Magic 30-year anniversary stuff, which they backpedaled anyway. And then let's talk about backpedaling later, because now that the whole OGL stuff has actually finished, we can talk about it. But the whole thing, my main concern with Magic was actually not the 30 anniversary thing, which is just whatever. You're either going to buy it or you're not. It's fine. But it's the fact that the number of products that Magic has launched in the past 2 to 3 years has been insane. Like, we're talking about mainline sets every 3 months has been the norm for a long time, which is fine. But then now, in between those sets, there's always going to be another another set, whether that's Modern Horizons, whether that's Secret Lair or Commander decks. A lot of that is coming in between those 3 months, and I really think that that's actually probably going to impact a lot of things, because I'm a guy who spent quite a bit of money on Magic, not as much as some, but enough. But looking at all of the products that came out, it really, like, I don't care. Like, I stopped caring about a lot of the products that came out, and so I'm just gonna spend less, because there's like secret layers, for example. Now that there's like one secret layer every 2 to 3 months, because Hasbro was or Wizards was like, okay, this makes money, and you're right. But a part of the reason why it makes money is because it's a very limited run. And so whenever there's special things that happens and it becomes less special, then that sort of becomes less attractive. So Hasbro has been squeezing Wizards, specifically Magic, a lot. Now that they're moving that towards, I'm guessing what they're seeing is that Magic is already starting to be saturated in terms of monetization, so they're looking at DnD.
I don't think that I want to clarify that one. I don't think that would be the case. I think they still want to squeeze the Magic one.
Yes.
But they realize that they've squeezed a little too hard.
Yes.
So they're backing off just a little bit, partially because of that. If they could get away with it, I don't think the D&D plans would have changed.
Yes. Yes, that's fair. That's fair. So from the D&D perspective is, how do they make money from that? D&D Beyond has been, I think, their main ones as of late, where I've never used it before, but from my understanding, it's sort of like a tool that DMs and players can use to basically make their life easier, right? Which is great. I would have liked that a lot when I was playing. When I was DMing quite a bit, it would be super useful to have, and all that stuff. But that is probably, you don't need. Here's the thing: one playgroup doesn't need one D&D Beyond per player. You probably need one for the DM, and then that might be it. So Wizards is making money off of the DM, which is fine. I don't know if you know this, but in Indonesia and sort of other, and I think this is widely spread, you can actually pay people to DM for you. So it becomes a service, right? From that perspective, having something like a D&D Beyond gives you gives you as a DM a better tool to provide your services and all of that stuff. Even if you're doing it just with your friends, it makes things easier. You can sink some money into it, that's fine. But what Wizard is looking for is a more scalable way to make money. But this is where their move with the OGL still sort of confused me, because the decision that they made would not have made them a lot of money.
Which one specifically?
The royalty side.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because out of everything is the royalty that brought them this much stuff.
Right. So I don't necessarily agree that the royalty one was the big one. I do recognize that it was a really, really bad one.
Yeah.
But it was sort of it was the I feel like it was the low hanging fruit to smack. Like for sorry, I'm going to use a very vulgar one, but analogy. But it's basically the lowest hanging balls to kick at.
Sure.
To kick. Because what happens is that, as I mentioned earlier, it's not about the money they can get from it. It's about getting people registered. It's about getting to make sure, right, that hey, if you've made enough money and you're the most well-known people around, because they assume that if you've made a lot of money, you're probably going to be well-known. The point is, you should register with us. They don't want to get every homebrew to register them, obviously, because hey, anything below a certain threshold, I really frankly don't care, and I don't think you have a lot of grounds to argue with us over that kind of stuff. But once you hit beyond a certain amount and you're enough within the public consciousness, it's a problem for us where if we have content that looks very similar, would you suddenly have grounds to sue us? Would you suddenly have the fan base to create troubles for us.
Mhm.
So it's more to do with that than anything else.
So I think there's three main parts, right? It's that one, the royalty, and then there is the stuff around inappropriate content based on Wizards' opinions. So I think for the first one, I get that one, and I do think that they probably need to work together with such content creators to draft up something that works for them, because those content creators, as we've seen, as well as other game companies, do have the support of a lot of people. And so actually bringing in people like Critical Role to the discussion and involving them as active stakeholders within all of this would actually have been helpful, and all of that stuff. From the money, from the royalty side, I think both of us agree that it's whatever. The amount of people that's going to impact is not a lot. It just makes them look really bad, because it's like, oh yeah, this is a corporate, like these here for your money kind of thing. They've always been like, let's be clear, Wizard of the Coast as a company should be trying to make money.
Okay, so I'm gonna flag that one out, right?
Sure.
So you've hit a small pain point for me, because I for those who don't know, I am a very, very large proponent of gacha.
Yeah.
Right. I think if the users are willing to pay money, are able and willing to pay money, they should be allowed to do so.
Yeah.
They should be able to support things as far as they can do so. I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
But there's a point of it where you're changing the terms of the arrangement, the relationship. Because make no mistake, a live service game or any game that has any amount of longevity to it, right? It is a relationship. It is a relationship between you and the player. There's a bit of trust involved, and there's a lot of faith involved as well. When you try to change the relationship mid-game, right, or midway through the relationship, yes, there are going to be pains, but you also have to understand, for a lot of people who are involved, that's not what they signed up for. That's not how they started this relationship. So you are essentially forcing people to question themselves, ask themselves one or two questions, which is, do I want out of this relationship?
Yes.
You know, so that's exactly what this, like, half of this question was about.
Yeah, and that's fair, right? In terms of, again, business as business are there to make money, but their relationship with their customers matters.
Oh, sorry, I forgot my own point.
Yes, go ahead. I was trying to see how that links in.
Thank you. So the thing I was trying to get at was this: people who work for companies needs to be paid fundamentally at the end of the day. And like, everyone keeps arguing over about how, like, oh, companies just want like all your cash and nothing else in between. And to be fair, like, there is cases to be said here, because of the internal emails and everything else. Once again, not going to bog you down with all that. But the gist of it is, like, wanting to make more money so that your company can either, number one, pay your workers better, pay your freelancers, the people you commission, all that better, make the project better, or to be able to even fund new projects, should not be faulted.
Yes.
You know, when you argue over the increase of game prices, and then in the same breath argue over the quality of the game that you're receiving, I think you have a problem. Because you don't seem to have that argument when you try to argue with your bosses for a higher pay. Where do you think that money is coming from? Like, I want to make that absolutely clear. I want us to be honest with this kind of thing. And I know it's not nice to talk about this kind of thing. It's uncomfortable to think about. But the fact is, we have to be honest about it, because at the end of the day, the numbers have to come from somewhere. Otherwise, you're a freaking NFT.
I'm not going to talk about NFTs here.
Anyway, I had to take that jab
Sure.
because the entire market is based on speculation.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise of it, right? The
Yeah.
numbers come from nowhere.
Yeah. If you have not watched it already, watch line goes up. Really good. But yes, so now we're talking about more to do with how much should a company focus on the returns of investment and profitability that it will provide to its shareholders. Because a lot of the stuff here is not about paying people more.
Right, exactly.
Right?
So but that's exactly it. So I want to put that thought into this discussion because of one very simple thing. I want to make it clear that, like, under no circumstance should we ever expect, like, the companies not to care realistically about making money.
Yes.
Because the company needs to survive, people need to survive,
Yes.
and all that these ways.
Yep.
But there is a threshold for all this.
Yep.
I just want to make sure that we walk into this conversation, right, with the right tone, because it's very easy to scream and shout at companies who want to make more money, but completely forget that they have mouths to feed for
Yep.
some reason.
Yep.
And I just hate that. Like,
Yep.
I really, really hate it.
Yeah. I mean, as much I think that's true for everything. That's true for the animators. That is true for sort of putting it into the wider
exactly.
statement. The animators, the writers, the developers, the game designers, and all of that stuff. You know, making, like, that's why I also put out the how much Wizard Magic stuff is being produced, because everything that comes out needs to be designed, needs to be tested, and then after that is delivered. And when you have a game as complex as Magic, you need a lot of people, and that's sort of part of the discussion as well. But this is where having Hasbro, who is a public company, so their stocks is in the stock exchange, that people can buy stocks from. These type of companies run on a quarterly cycle, and they need to be able to show results on a quarterly basis. If not, then their stock will fall. I mean, I'm super simplifying it, but that's sort of like partially the gist, right? So what it is that perhaps previously Wizard was able to take a longer look of their business, longer than 3 months more, maybe at 4 or 5 years, and sort of we see where they want to go, and then adjust things accordingly. And that's when you're able to write up a lot of these waves of ups and downs, based on that, because Magic have gone through ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
There has been moments where some sets have done so poorly that it took a while for people to come back. And for public companies, I feel that those, they get punished for those type of ups and downs, and so they need to be able to provide more value to the shareholders and all of that more consistently. And a big part of that is making sure that the profit margin is enough. And that's where a lot of these things come in. Now, again, if this was all about feeding the people who worked for Wizard of the Coast, who loves the game, and they're like, I will believe that people who work in Wizard of the Coast really do love the game that they're working on. Mostly. It's just annoying me. It actually annoys me so much that
I find a lot of these decisions are
Swamps and flames, please.
things are done and have made negative impact to those people. But yeah, in terms of the OGL itself, I think that, you know, it is something that is very much, I don't know, like, would it have been better? I think, well, for me, I'm just gonna maybe ask, float out some ideas, right? And, like, how could have this gone better, right? Would have been better to involve the community a bit more in drafting this up,
So
because
the problem you have is not problem of the people, not like people within the company not knowing that they should be working with a community for like XYZ and whatever else there is. It has more to do with the problem with the fact that there are people within the company, at least from what I've seen, from what I've heard, who are not interested in taking that feedback.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more to do with that than anything else, I think, is your problem. So I can't. Sorry, you may draw. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh, dang. Oh, I don't know where to land on this thing. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, so the problem isn't there. The problem is just purely that you have situations where people are not willing to listen to those who they pay for their expertise, who know that, hey, this should be like this or that should be like that. That's where you're hearing all this news about. This is why all the leaks happen and all that kind of stuff. Is because there are people who genuinely care, but they're not being listened to, and people who don't care, who are more obsessed about, for example, certain elements of the work, and like care less about the community and all that. They're the ones who are put into positions where they get to make decisions and they get to decide on what everyone listens to.
Yeah.
So the problem isn't about the company. Like there isn't a step, so to speak, right, that we can suggest unless the higher ups listen to.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of the big thing.
Yeah.
Now, that's to. But I realized now that after having said all that, that I'm kind of not really getting the spirit of the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the real problem with that one in particular, to say how it should have been done, I think it's very important to recognize that, like, to very specifically go, okay, guys, these are our intents. We have content that's going out. We can't share with you what they are, but we want to expand what we as a company cover for DnD, and we also want to expand on how we can, like, increase the thing, like increase the size of everything. I think a few examples that are very interesting and very nice to try and do includes, for example, what Riot does. Riot has a program called Riot Forge, which allows people to essentially register official doujins with them. Basically, and in case anyone's not familiar with it, if you're Japanese, doujins are not limited to books. So just in case, like, you can literally do anything.
Fan-made stuff.
It's a very generic term for every fan-made stuff. So you can sort of just create official derivative works. Riot has a program that allows you to do that, so that's kind of cool. The thing about so that would have been one approach that I think would have been healthier if they went down, which is like, hey, register your stuff with us. Let's do this together. It would have required a lot of work. It required an expansion of the workforce and people to work with more people to sort of like put more to manage everything. But you would have a net increase in your content generation and like a larger, in effect, to some degree, a larger piece of the pie. it will also free you from a lot of those the need for those morality clauses, because you're effectively saying that if it's not part of this program, I don't care. Like, as in, I have no power over it.
Yep.
It also generates, and it gives a lot of acknowledgement to the community and potentially increased community engagement too.
Yep.
So it's a fantastic thing.
Yep.
So putting it out there. That's one. The next thing, following that, is then like that whole. It also protects them from a lot of the self-control issues and everything else. The problem is, however, there is no answer. Like something like that.
Yep.
It's not satisfying in a investor call.
Yeah.
I don't think it's satisfying in an investor call,
Yep.
and I think that needs to be sounded out, which is something that I've ran through these steps before with a number of people. With the idea is that the philosophy is that no one in any one step, right, is innately malicious.
Yep.
Everyone's serving a master. It's just that your master is different.
Yep.
My problem from these conversations, once again, is this very seemingly obvious problem where, as I said just now, like the higher ups are just not listening to what the people who they pay to give them advice on, advising them on. Like, they're telling them that, hey, this is going to be a problem, this is not going to work, blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, no, we'll ride through it, blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. They're going about it that way, which is kind of silly.
Yeah. That happens a lot. It's not a wizard only thing. It's a management issue. You gotta be like example, nope, can't say that. Example, nope, can't say that.
Can you go with like company lambda?
No. Well,
Are you allowed to go company lambda?
let's just say that I think that a lot of there's quite a lot of management or companies that really doesn't. Let's say that the company culture, and specifically the management culture, are extremely either, let's say, hierarchical, whereas the people at the top think that they know best, and would not then listen to the people on the ground, or they're sort of deluded in terms of they think that they listen to the people on the ground.
Oh god, that one's the worst.
And they think that they have made quite a lot of headway and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was the worst.
And that one is difficult because then if people think that they're doing a good job and you actively need to tell them otherwise, that becomes a very big issue. That becomes they will just see you as somebody who's attacking them.
Yep.
Which is not where you want to be when you are trying to make positive changes.
Yeah, definitely not KFC. Sorry, it's a tagline.
Okay.
Did you know?
Finger licking good.
Oh, so in Malaysia, at one point they went. There was this tagline that went like, KFC, that's where I want to be. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't know that one?
No.
Yeah, it could be a Malaysian thing then.
No, my one's mostly McDonald's ads.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
When did they start that one? I know it wasn't in this last decade.
It was pretty early on. I must have been in uni, so 2009, 2010. You can calculate my age.
Doxing ourselves every day. What is this? What is this privacy you speak of?
Yeah, but yeah, so it's a lot of that's an issue, and then then there's nothing much you can do once you start going in that whole thing, because when you're working in a company, you're working for these people, and they're the bosses at the end of the day, and if they don't try and listen, there are sort of maybe ways that you can convince them over time, but that's a lot of effort and that takes a lot of.
Yeah, I'm going to flag out that like there's a lot of people who are just definitely going to go like, nope, it's not my problem. I'm going to fuck off.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've met a number of people like that. I've never faulted anyone for that,
Yep.
but it's not my style. But I completely understand that if you don't want to take the company's troubles onto your own shoulders.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it comes to larger companies like Wizards and all these kind of problems that has come up, a lot of people feel like, hey, these are projects that I love. These are things that I love. I don't want it. I don't want to go to shits.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I have my usual problem right now.
Mhm.
I don't know what to cut. Let me take a look.
How many
There's
players?
10, 17, 23.
That's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, 23 and then 17 lands, and you're good. 40 cards.
Am I right? I think I might be wrong. Wait a second. That's 8. This is... No, this is not 8. This is 4, 5.
So Damien's asking whether or not we've opened anything good.
I don't think this counts.
I have a mythic called All Will Be One, which is the namesake of the.
Yeah, I know. That looks gorgeous. I saw it. I didn't hear you say anything. I'm waiting for you to drop it and like just go like, surprise! Supplies!
Yes, supplies indeed. Which says that whenever you put one or more counters on a permanent or player, it deals that much damage to target opponent, creature, and opponent control, or planeswalker and opponent control.
Sorry, you say it again?
Whenever whenever I put one or more counters on a permanent, so for example, if I put in 3 oil counters on my stuff, I shoot you, a creature you control or a planeswalker you control 3.
Oh, 3 flat damage.
3 flat damage, yeah.
All right. What a dick.
Yes. I don't think that it's. I haven't checked. I don't have a list of prices.
The nicest.
We're actually talking about this.
The nicest thing I've got is
that is worth money. I know all the mythic. What do they call it?
I've got a
Dominus.
Yeah, I've got a couple of really nice art stuff. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, the set itself is actually super. It's like super good in terms of value, in terms of monetary value. I'm just gonna double check a few things. Because there is quite a lot of quite a lot of stuff that is going to be used for things like Commander. Again, Commander is where the money is. So
I swear, I'm very, very certain of it, by the way. I actually have another deck in here.
Yeah, so a sealed deck, I always find that you can probably make 2 decent decks. So this All Will Be One is $16 US, which is quite good.
Zopandrel.
And then
Zopandrel.
Zofendrel.
There's no H. Why are you doing a H? It's Zopandrel.
Oh, sure, Zopandrel. For Zopandrel. How much are you? You are, and that's the special art. So even without the special art, it's like $23. So that's $28.
Your sleeve.
You're sleeving them up. It's fine. They should be more than 40.
Let's just sleep them.
Yeah. So I think in terms of stuff, that's before we even count anything else and the rares and stuff. I got one of the fast lands, which should still be about $5. I think overall, tis a good part. It's good that both of us got like a mythic that's actually worth something.
Yes. But whether we play it is a different conversation.
That is
altogether.
true. As soon as I saw the all will be one, I'm like,
Yeah, no.
I am going to build around it. It's not like, because if you don't have the right cards, this
Right. No.
But I'm like, I'm going to build around it and see how it goes.
So the truth is, I could play white green. I think I can play white green. I
Yeah.
can also even play black green. I think it's fine. Because the truth is, like, green is pretty hefty. Even if I went with red green, I probably can still make it work. If I centered with green,
Yeah.
right. But hey, Jared's not known for playing norms.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like let's keep myself entertained.
Yeah. So just a side thing here, there's I got a rare called Evolve Spinoderm. This is not a great card. But well, sorry, let me caveat that. This is a fine card. In limited, it's probably not great anywhere else. But this brings back a card that I have used a lot in my early days in playing Cube Draft in Magic, which is Blasterdorm, which is a 4-mana 5/5 vanishing 3 or vanishing 4. What it basically does, and Shroud, which is the important part. So it's a 4-mana 5/5 with Shroud that disappears over time, and this is basically a remake of that. But I think it's interesting because you can add quite a lot of different things to it. Like for example, now in this case, the counters is oil counters. So once you run out of oil counters, it dies. But with proliferate and all that kind of stuff, it becomes super useful because, and it's interesting that so this type of card used to have Shroud. Now it has hexproof until it has 2 or fewer oil counters, and then it becomes that it has trample instead. So it starts out as something that is which has a lot of play to it with like proliferate and stuff like that. If you have instant proliferation, that would be great. Somebody when this has, for example, 2 oil counters and it loses hexproof, somebody tries to kill it, and then you proliferate, increase that oil counter, puts hexproof on it, counters it. So yes, great card, love it. I'm not gonna play it because I'm not playing green. My green is actually relatively strong, but then I don't have enough creatures in green, sadly. Oh.
Okay, it's discarded. Yeah, discarded. I sleeved 2 extra cards that I was like, I'm playing a profile.
Yep. All good.
So yes, this is going to be a white-black attempt at being silly.
Yep.
I have no idea how it's going to work.
Yep.
We'll find out, because there's a very specific way I tend to build my decks. I do try to look for removers, but what happens is that so what I will try and do is that I'll try to pivot my stuff towards like removers, depending on like the removers that I have and all that kind of stuff. But if I don't have a very clear path towards like, oh hey, I have more removers in this color or that one,
yeah,
I will then see what makes me happy.
Yeah, I guess so my deck is blue-red, pretty low curve. I think as I mentioned with the all will be one, I'm trying to build around that, which may or may not work out.
Yeah.
I still think I can win without it, but it'll be very nice once it's
well we're really like I think I'm quite sure I put it in the descriptions last night because I didn't want to give anyone the idea that we were good players in any way. So I explicitly put in parentheses inside there.
Yeah.
And like poorly played.
Poorly played.
Right. Yes. Anyways. All right. Cool. All right. Roll the start. Odds or evens?
Odds. Okay.
Choose to.
I shall start first.
All right.
Forget it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Let's do this. I love how color coordinated we are by sure. Like, did you bring blue sleeves just so that like you would be like color coordinated?
Well, I had blue red, and I'm like, this is actually great.
Yeah.
Makes it much easier to like differentiate as well.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, this looks fun.
This looks unfortunate.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Copperline Gorge, dual land. Just double checking whether or not the. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. What was it again?
It's a red green dual land.
Unless you control 2 of your under the battlefield. Unless you
So
control-
yeah, so it's untapped.
And just if you tap unless you.
Yeah.
Why is the wording so?
Wording.
Why couldn't you be just more positive?
Yeah.
Would it just give me a yes answer?
Like enters the battlefield untapped.
No, just like if you control just basically no, you have to change the wording. I
Yeah.
know it's a templating
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but you have to change the wording. It's like when this enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or less lands, 2 or more lands, tap it.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
templating.
right, I understand. Yeah. Oh, right. So I'm going to do it this way.
Yep.
Terramorphic Expanse, sack.
Yep.
Sorry, I want to make this clear. This is not my grave.
Yep.
I'm. Yeah, I should be safe. I should be safe.
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
within frame.
It is the graveyard is being covered by our icon, by our
yeah, I think
PNG,
that
but
was
that's
it.
totally fine.
Planes.
My turn.
Oh, by the way, your counter for life.
My counter for life.
Yes.
Do you want to take the red one, and I'll take this one,
Oh, sure.
just so that we can be a little bit more color coordinated.
All right, sure. We'll do that then.
Yeah.
And then we'll use this for poison.
Yep.
We do have like poison counters from the boxes, but I don't feel like tearing them out.
Yeah, we can use the red. Your red
Yeah.
weapons there.
Yeah, we have tokens. We have tokens. Very nice tokens. I keep doctoring myself. I'm not used to this. This is why I'm not a VTuber.
Yeah.
There we go.
And play an island and go.
All right, my turn. Untap.
Excited.
Drop in the swamp.
Yep.
Did I? No. But okay, I mean, I just want to do this.
What is that?
Two.
Oh, just counter.
Oh no! What is it?
Counter target spell
Where's the
unless you control play 2. If you're corrupted, it's just counter target spell for 2.
Oh, all right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Magnetic Sprinter.
Mhm.
So 3 mana, 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, it gets 2
Right.
all counters.
Right. That means it's toxic, right?
No.
Oh.
All counters doesn't. It's just
It's just a counter.
it's just a counter.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's just oily.
Yeah. So that's haste. So entering combat, I just swing.
All right.
Take 3.
Okay. So it's regular damage.
Yeah, regular damage.
Plebeian damage.
Plebeian damage. And at the beginning of your end step, I
Yeah.
can return this to my hand unless I remove 2 oil counters from it. So
Right.
I will.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's a ball lightning. All right.
Yes.
Moth turn. Tap draw card. Oh, this is. All right. We're going to do a planes. And then I'm probably going to regret this like crazy because I already see where you're going with this. Infectious Inquiry!
Oh, yes, sure. Go ahead, draw 2, lose
Down
2.
to 15. Draw 2. And you get 1 poison.
I get 1 poison.
Yeah. So let me see my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, cool. Go.
All right.
Yeah, make me regret that. Make me regret it. What is life? Life is for the boring. We live on the edge. Have either of you built an EDH deck before? He has, not me.
I have. I dislike the process. 100 cards is just really annoying to get through. So usually I actually net deck cards.
Yeah, I'm down to 12.
Yep. I will play Urabar's Anointer. It does nothing because I have no oil counters on my
He's not oily enough.
feature.
Whenever it does battlefield, deal X damage to any target with X number of permanents control all counters. Oh, it's number of permanents.
Yes,
right.
correct.
Oh,
Because otherwise it would.
yeah, no. Like, yeah.
Yeah. End turn, I can't remove oil counters, so it goes back to my hand.
Oh, it goes back. Okay, right. All right, it's my turn.
As Damien has mentioned, it is a quote unquote better ball lightning. It doesn't have trample.
No, it's not a better ball. Like,
but
what, lads? It is not a better ball lightning.
yeah. I think the most fun I had building an EDH deck is with, I forgot, it's the goat. It's the goat legendary creature. And the focus of that is giving your opponents permanents. Your permanent, you give it to other people.
Right.
That one's fun because it can, it's you're trying to win in an unusual way.
Right.
But yeah.
No. Unusual wins are fun.
Yes.
Good, drop this one.
But otherwise you just have 2-card combos all the
Okay,
way
wait,
through.
no. Do I drop this?
Yep.
Ichu. This. I'm gonna make your life easy. A very nice one.
Toxic one, proliferate. Okay.
A very nice one. Very nice one. I swear. See, I always step on. See?
Yep.
Nice, right?
Yep.
No need to think on very easy. Well done.
Makes things much easier.
Yes, correct. I very free form. Let's do this. This is actually fatter than I thought.
Yeah,
I actually thought it was a 1/1.
Yeah. It used to be, those type of cards used to be 1/1s.
Yeah, I seriously thought it was a 1/1. Didn't think it was a 2/2. It's a 2/2.
Yeah. For now, let's Bolt charge it, deal 3 damage, and proliferate. But I have nothing to proliferate. No.
Huh? Proliferate doesn't count poison?
So I can, but it's a May ability.
No, but I do it.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
What is it?
No. Because this also proliferates.
Yeah. But no.
Proliferate from that. Yes. I forgot that.
I was like, wait, what?
Fair point. Yes.
Why don't I get to proliferate? Did it change the rules?
Yeah. Damien here says, should build another one next time we can play EDH.
Yeah. Let's
Certainly.
Let's do that.
For that, I swing for 4.
Oh God, I'm down to 8.
Cool.
This is. There is a bitch and a half in here. Okay, I am not ready for this. Oh. God. All right, let's do this. Don't have a choice.
Okay.
Go.
That
Yeah.
is. Okay, I have to admit that in this game, I've just been drawing stuff that is
Conveniently.
very, very convenient.
Yeah, assholes.
Before anything, Icor Synthesizer. It's a 1/3 flyer that gets +2 +0. If
4
it
more oil gets +2 +0 can be blocked. Okay, so if it gets really oily, it just
gets
slips through.
really oil.
It just slips through.
Yes, absolutely. What I do have is 3 mana, deal 5 damage to target creature.
Ah, piece of.
And it also loses indestructible on the end of turn if that matters.
Ah, god damn it. Yeah, and am I dead yet? No,
No.
no, I'm still in the game.
Take 4.
Take 4. Alright, down to 4.
Oh, sorry. Whenever cast non-creature spell, it also gets an oil.
Alright, it gets extra oily. Alright.
Good.
Alright, my turn. This is not nice. How do I want to play this now? Is there any coming back from this BS? Can I even do a thing?
You need 2 removal spells or 2 blockers.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of how I'm going to go about it, that's all.
Because you also know what's in my hand.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's going to work. I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead. Okay, I'm going to do the thing that I think is going to be best.
Yep.
I'm tap this. Kill this. We just draw a card just to see what happens. Oh yeah, this is fantastic. The best life ever. Now, game's yours.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. Yeah,
Cool.
just in case you're wondering. So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing was, every intention was to discard this.
Yeah.
To blow whatever else is on the field.
Yeah.
Like there was stuff that was just definitely going to discard. Yeah, but I didn't have a choice because I needed I need a blocker. If you weren't going to attack, he's going to go away.
Yeah.
If
then-
you were going to attack, yeah.
And then I also have the haste creature.
Yeah, correct. So everything else was just going to be dependent on like a bunch of other
Yep.
things. But it was my only play because I didn't have anything in between.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was
and I drew the 2 removal spells that I have in my deck.
correct. So it was not fantastic. Congratulations.
Sorry.
Also, as a note, this like I drew I think I drew lands like 2 or 3 turns like consecutively.
Yep.
Like it's just really not how this deck is meant to be played. I'm gonna take a gamble because right now I think I'm 41. I'm gonna go up to 42.
Okay.
Because this, right? Do I have an alternative to that?
I mean, I think it is a format where you do want to have plenty of like early drops.
Let's do this. Let's do this one instead. Do this instead. We're gonna take a chance with this one.
Okay.
Instead. Because I do have a lot of early drops. It's just the problem is that it's balancing out the land
Yeah.
ratio versus the
The labels.
yeah. So yeah, are we done with the OGL now?
Are we done with the OGL? I want to talk a bit about backpedaling.
All right, cool. Talk about
Because what we're seeing, so if anyone hasn't sort of kept up with the whole thing, the OGL Wizard decided that hey, the OGL is not going to work out. Like the changes to the OGL is not going to work out, so we'll keep it the way it is. Thank you for your feedback.
feedback.
All of that stuff, right? And recently, Netflix. So you've heard obviously that they're going to sort of made it really difficult for people to share
Right.
an account if you don't live in the same place. So they apparently they published a thing in their website saying like, hey, this is how it's going to work. And then everyone's like, well, I guess we're just canceling all of our subscriptions then. And so they're like, oh, that was posted up there by mistake. Sorry about that, guys. Please ignore it. Which to me is just like, guys, like trying to spin it off. Like, it's okay to go like, we've made a mistake.
Yeah.
We did not put in enough effort in finding your voices and all of that stuff. And clearly,
I should have listened to the people I pay.
yes. and that, you know, we did not expect this is the way it was gonna go and all of that stuff. I feel like I can at least respect that. But backpedaling, and I think Wizards sort of is more towards that end.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you. Than Netflix was of oopsie daisy. But even for Wizards, thank you. A lot of it is the whole is like, you know, I forgot which of the wordings was it, but it was a lot to do with something on the line of this was an early draft that and all of that stuff
They were trying to claim that the draft
that got leaked, right?
that got leaked was a draft.
Yeah.
But the problem was that calling it. So the thing is that it's fun because calling it a leak is really, really weird. Because from what I know of the situation, what has been shared is that the version, the new OGL that they were sharing, was actively shared to people with the idea, with the explicit request, right, that they sign on to it.
Yeah.
So you can't sign on to a draft.
Yeah.
Because it's either is or isn't.
Yeah.
It's not Schrodinger's contract.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It can't change depending on its observer. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right. So it's this massive problem where it's like that just does not make sense. And unless you're telling me that everyone you sent it out to all lied about requiring to sign
the document,
as in like, oh yeah, we agreed with it, that kind of thing. I don't even need to say about what they agreed to. I don't need that. Just that very idea that they need to sign anything is itself something that says, oh, okay, you're seeking approval.
Yeah, right.
And what it tells me is also, as well as like, if you have enough approval, you're definitely just walking.
Yeah, you're just gonna go into it. Yeah.
So that's not a draft.
Yeah.
That's a version of the final product.
Yeah.
Calling it a draft is like saying, I mean, in a way, if you split your words really carefully, you can technically say that.
Yeah, because it hasn't been
approved, but like in the context of everything, it's really, really disingenuous.
Yeah. So I think, okay, and here's my take in backpedaling. Because I think that with the amount of feedback that people can get at this point in time through the internet and all of that stuff, not to say that all voices in the internet is valid.
Yeah. Well, no, they're all valid. They're just like they might not be representative of a larger majority.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Or make any real sense.
Yes. But really, really don't think that you should have seen this coming and all of that stuff. If you don't, fine, whatever. If you want to backpedal graciously.
Yeah.
Like, say that you've made a mistake. Say that here are the reasons like why we did this, why we thought it was a good idea, and clearly that it was not a good idea. And from that perspective, I think Wizards' final thing was okay. I think they still tried to make it. They still tried to make it into like a learning.
I feel at that point they deserve no credit.
Fair.
Like the corporate comms guys, like there's a non-zero chance. Like there's some people, like if you watch some people trying to dissect every one of those announcements or communications they sent out, like it's very obvious at some point some of those were not made with like they didn't go through a proper comms team, that kind of thing. So obviously someone inside was like rioting and protesting and shit. Like they go like, no, we're not doing this stuff.
Yeah.
What do we say? That kind of stuff. Like, you sent that out without our approval. What the hell are you talking about? Now I have to clean up your shit? No, that kind of stuff. So no, it definitely feels like it was thought out that way. It's I feel like at that point you don't deserve any credit for that. You need to earn the trust back. You need to earn like that civility back.
Yeah.
Because you just took your entire community of people on for a ride. You tried to test the relationship. Like as I said, like it is a relationship. And like, guys, I don't know how many of this is going to watch it and go like, are the people that go like, hey, yeah, I haven't heard from my boyfriend or my girlfriend for a while. I should try to like post pictures of me dating someone else and see whether I get a reaction from them. Guys, please don't do that. Like, that's not how you have a healthy relationship. Don't test the relationship. That's the biggest Richard's gambit you'll ever be able to do. Like, it's my favorite term, by the way.
Fair enough. I mean, makes things PG-13.
Yeah, by the way, just so you know, I almost wanted to name this channel Richard's Gambit, but I'm not named Richard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so quick aside. But yeah, the fact is, it is so obvious that you wanted to see what you can get away with, and you just never expected this level of a backlash.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to say, please don't leave me, please stay back, but you're not willing to push out that sincerity. You're trying to say as though oopsie
Oopsie-doodle.
yeah, I went out with him just one time, and no, it doesn't work that way. You very intentionally did it, trying to see whether you can get away with it, and then when the reaction was much more visceral than you expected, you expect everyone to just go,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. It doesn't work.
Yeah. No, definitely they need to win back the trust of the people.
Yeah, it worked. For me, it's not only that; it's a really simple idea that you think you can like as though you can go back to business as usual just like that. It's just insulting at best.
Yeah, but I do think that if there's no major controversies that comes out, and that's a big if, seeing their recent trend, I think people will forget about it after a year or so.
I think the problem is that damage to something like DnD is more severe than damage to like Magic, because Magic is still heavily content driven in a sense that like it is dependent on the product that comes out. So if the product is good, you're still going to be able to bring people back. If you recognize, hey, we did a thing. Here's some good products. Here's some stuff and everything else, and like that feeling will soften.
Yeah,
but I think D&D is very, very different. D&D requires like a lot of the content is self-generated.
Yeah,
a lot of the backlash are for people who spend the hours to generate content using a system that they believed was supposed to be okay. Now you've basically told them that we may change the terms of that arrangement at any given time.
Yeah.
You are basically telling them, and this is once again, in case you weren't paying attention, like why you should not try to test the relationships, your relationships this way, is that you're effectively telling your SO and the people you're having that relationship with that you are open to testing that relationship at any given time.
Yep.
You don't know when it might happen. You don't know what the conditions are. GLHF trying to figure out how far I would go.
Oh, right. Sorry, I was trying to figure out GLHF.
Oh, good luck, have fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So how far I'm gonna go? Like basically, you're saying that like you've effectively told your community that if I can get away with it, I will.
Yeah.
You know. So that trust and that thing, that signal that you sent out, is a really, really tough one.
Yeah. Toxic relationship 101, people.
Yes, exactly. The only way, unfortunately, I think, is if they really want to try and recover from all this, unfortunately, is two things, believe it or not. One of it, it has to be, Hasbro has to show significant backstepping from its pushing or the pressure it presses on Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
This will never happen.
Yes.
Because
they're the only arm that's making money.
Correct. So that's one problem on its own. That's one thing. And then the other side of it is the head of DnDs, the groups of people who approved of this, come out and said, I was the guys behind it, we're stepping back, we're stepping down.
Yes.
That's the only way you can technically do it.
Yeah.
As long as those people exist, as long as the corporate structure that saw over what happened with the OGL fiasco right now still exists, I think it's really difficult to expect players to say that we're fine with this and we might go back to the old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. In this sense, I agree. Sort of like the Japanese way of doing things.
Right.
That whole like everyone in the room with cameras walking up, bowing, going like I'm stepping down.
Correct. But this is because until that happens, you have to recognize one thing. Until that happens, there is no guarantee that these guys are not going to come to those conclusions again
Sure.
and say that, hey, maybe we can try it this time.
Yeah.
You know? It's the same, it's exactly the same thing. It's the same thing with any toxic relationship. It's the same
Yeah,
shit.
no, I agree with that.
Yeah. Start first, by the way.
I do think that again, yeah, so I do think that they need to step down and or switched. They don't need to necessarily voluntarily step down. But if I was Hasbro, I would. No, can't kill it now. But I do have Mr. 1-3 back.
Hello, 1-3.
Hello. 2-1. Go. But yeah, I think that sort of sums it up for me for like OGL, just in terms of all the issues that it came out with. Like we can go all day about like bad management decision in like game companies. You probably would know more than I do. I think you're more sort of tapped into that than I am.
So
No?
I think the right way of phrasing it, like, at least from my experience, it's less than a decision as much as it is
Series?
like, no, more like I think it's more to do with like we did not have the bandwidth to operate on that level. It's like I did not know that I needed to think of that.
Yeah.
You know? So because when you talk about decisions, it has to be a conscious thing, right? Like I think it's more often than not like people just going, I simply wasn't thinking of it.
Yep. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Battle Fist for Mirrodin,
It's a 3/3, right?
it's a 3-1.
It's a 3/1.
It's a +1 -1.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But what's important is I get an air counter on this because it's a non-feature spell.
Oile.
And then after that, I will play a Maze Skull Bomb, which also get me there.
So much oil.
Olé. Go. But yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing if I was still more active in DnD, I would be a bit more riled up. But also now there's so many TTRPG systems as well that it's like, yes, this is the one we grew up with, and this is the one. Dang it. That's such a good point. Thank you.
It's a construct.
Yeah, so but as it is, if I was still playing D&D, I would probably just switch to Pathfinder or whatever. It's never been an issue with me. Betrayal, sure.
Does it actually fly?
No, it does not.
But it becomes unblockable,
it
right?
becomes unblockable once that's 4.
And +2/+0.
Yes, so it's a 3/3.
Oh, what a penis. Anyway.
You good?
Yeah.
So I think because, I felt betrayed.
It's actually quite nice. I didn't realize that equip was only one.
Yes. Was like
I think I'm gonna die to that.
with Games Workshop from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your board is pretty good. I can't attack
It
with
looks
this.
nice. It looks nice.
I can't attack with this and
Expect to survive.
expect
right?
to survive at this point. For now.
It will come.
It will come. Gitaxian Raptor. So 1/4.
What's with this huge like the
butts?
yeah, the badonkadonks on these things are huge. There are 3 oil thunders behind. Oh, okay. Alright. So it's a micromorphin.
Yes.
Okay. Holy mother of
It's into a 2/3,
Alright. Cool.
which is okay.
Yeah, remove all 3, man. Remove all 3. Remove all 3. That's how you live. Live dangerously. Remove all 3.
Actually, you know what? No. I'm not going to bother. Because right now this can block that, and if I equip that, it just
Yeah, it's just not fantastic,
Yeah.
is it? Alright.
Oh. Damien says, "Can I say how thematic the mechanics are? With Toxic and Corrupted, you really feel like some evil overlord with the players you can make." Yes,
A little.
this is quite great. But I do think that in this case, my only issues was for Mirrodin in terms of like the different like stuff. Ooh, big one.
Hi, boy.
Okay.
All right. Go, Gus.
Okay. And turn, sack that. Part.
Is it only? Oh, it's just all right.
Yeah. So
it's the secondary.
the second
effect is-
ability.
Yeah. Forgot about it. I should have played more of them because I forgot that they were just essentially cycles.
Yeah, it's a cycles.
No, card cyclers.
Yeah.
I switched to the second ad of Pat last year. My play group really different from DnD 5e. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is quite different. But you can always adjust things. I mean, that's the beauty of TTRPGs, right? You can
You can screw around and find.
You can screw around and find out. Yes. Okay, let's solve the problem first.
Yes. Solve the problem.
Same problem.
Ah, god damn it.
So I may need to shuffle my decks back.
Yeah, it gets stupid, unblockable bullshit.
And now for attack, you swing back. No, go. Oh, I can also go. What other? I've played Pathfinder. Pathfinder is very much a 3.5 analog, rather than a 5th ed analog. 3.5 is so complicated to begin with. 5th ed is a lot more simplified, and I think that's fine. I actually like a lot of the TTRPGs that uses 3d6s instead of d20, just because in terms of averaging out the stuff, the chances, it actually makes it more fun. So I actually like I forgot what it's called. I think it's the Iron Kingdom TTRPG, which is based off Fort and War Machine. BimG is smiling, so I'm just seeing what this is.
No, I'm smiling because every time someone says iron, the back of my head just like I've come to the realization that there's a large, significant group of people in this world that pronounces it as iron.
Rather than?
No, it pronounces as iron. There's an emphasis on the R. Iron.
Yeah. And a couple of others from that. Yes.
Why have all the blockers become so chunky?
Chunk.
Like, they don't have the caboose to back that up. There is no way on earth they can take that much damage. Like, it's a freaking glider. Why does it have a 3 backside? Why is it comparable to a bear?
Because. Well, rat in this case.
Oh yeah, and that's worse. But no, but like really,
Yeah.
This rat is twice the size of. Okay, fine. I guess we're in frags here. So like rats twice the size of people makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And the people are twice the size of people. I guess that makes perfect sense.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Okay. Attack?
No, that's more or less it.
Yeah. Untap. Draw. Jumbo. Just go with. All will be one.
Oh no! Is it enchantment? Oh, it's an enchantment.
Yes. That doesn't trigger because it triggers off this casting.
Okay.
So before it's on your battlefield.
Right.
And just going to pass turn.
Okay, end of turn. Sack the fair ballista.
Yep.
Oh, god damn it!
More lands.
This is not how this deck is supposed to be played, my friend. I want to restart this game.
Yes, we can.
I've been literally.
Yeah.
I started with a 4-land hat. with the mirror, don't this stupid like mover thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird because is it a mover? It's a mover, right?
Yeah.
It's a mover, right?
Yeah. It moves this dune around.
All right, fine. So it's a dune mover. So I had this stupid dune mover in my hand. I was like, okay, fine, I'll tolerate it because why the f not, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-2 one. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
It's decent, and it potentially solves
Other pressures.
yeah, and it has toxic, so it's
Yeah.
great. Fine, let's go for it. I've been drawing lands for like fast 4 turns.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, holy mother of.
Any other thoughts on the OGL?
Oh God. Yeah. There is one thing, but this is sort of a thing more to do with. It's more on the positive side, I guess. I think I alluded to this earlier, but I just want to make sure that it's on the record. Like there is this huge. It's really about its functionality and what it means.
Yeah.
Because what it effectively did was that it is a legal open invite for
Yeah.
people to say, "Come and join us."
Yes.
That's effectively what it was. I think on that very basis itself, it was insanely like ingenious.
And way ahead of its time back then.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I say in a manner of speaking partially because saying it is ahead of its time implies sort of like it wasn't already going to be the case.
Yeah.
Like, because as we covered earlier and we talked about earlier, you can't claim ownership over mechanics.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be a case where the OGL was the stuff that's covered under the SRD, right?
Yeah.
Was not going to be it wasn't something that people could just walk away with anyway.
Yeah.
And, like people could walk away like referencing it anyway.
Yep.
But what the OGL said effectively is that you have permission to do it now. And you can do stuff and make a living off it and build your lives around it.
Right.
Yeah. The insanity of it, and this is going to sound horrible, they effectively said to a lot of people that you can build your lives around me and I would make sure that you are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why, like, what happened with the OGL was such a big thing.
Yeah. A lot of content that DnD became big for is due to the OGL. Outside of the big sort of settings like Forgotten Realms and all of that
Right.
stuff, it really grew up based on fan-made things. The same way that, in my opinion, a lot of anime adjacent stuff
Right.
grew big because of all the doujins that came out.
Right.
So it's a mutually beneficial thing, and I think that's where it's such a shame that this has happened, because it was already so mutually beneficial. It has been a very good relationship between that, and so you just have people who decided to come in, and I don't know about this. I need to double check whether or not that the management just is freshly. Thanks, Damien. Said you have to go. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, it just feels sad that this has happened for what essentially is a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. All right, I'm going to start first,
Yeah.
all right?
Go ahead. Go.
I get to play it for its purpose.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm waiting for the day that they just like decide to like do the Japanese thing.
Yeah.
And instead of then shuffle and put the card on top, just shuffle top.
Double top.
No,
Okay.
just shuffle top it.
Yeah.
Like everyone will understand. Like I don't need you to explain it to me. I need like 2 seconds
Yeah.
and I'll get it. I wonder what's in my hand.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
It's a toxic bug.
Yes.
It's a mosquito. It's a mosquito with malaria.
Go with magnetic sprinter.
Oh god, that shit again.
Yeah, giving all counters to this.
Oh, you can give it to
put two
anyone.
all counters on target artifact or creature.
Oh, it's anyone.
Yep.
Enough.
Um,
Come on. Come on. Come on. What do you have to lose?
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Yep.
There is no harm. I just realized I put a card in the wrong. Like, I don't have a purpose for this card. I just wasn't thinking of it.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded so cool. I couldn't help myself.
When you enter the battlefield and you control, if it has
Yeah, it's a really nice card.
one more oil on it, you put a counter on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a really nice card, but it really has no purpose in this deck.
Because you don't have any oil combo.
I think I do, but I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Because that in my deck would be really
Yeah. Exactly. Attack.
1 damage and 1 poison counter.
Oh, that's how it works.
Yes.
So you're gonna use this. Are you gonna use the red ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so a problem with Infect they had last time was that unless your whole entire deck is all Infect, what you have is mixed damage.
Right.
Yeah. So now it's both actual damage and poison.
I suppose. Okay, so it is an active counterbalancing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a gimp and a nerf.
Yeah.
Like all good dinners, I have some reservations.
Filigree selects.
Sure.
Let's see if I can hit you for 10.
Sorry, you may sacrifice. Destroy targeting any equal number of oil counters. Oh, okay. Move 10 oil counters from corner to control and sacrifice the corner to use damage. Okay.
Yep. Go.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's unblockable now, right?
It needs 4.
It needs 4, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What the? Oh. Oh, okay, cool. Let's make life easier for me. Fire disruption.
Okay. Yep. Right. Take 3 damage, so down to 16, and
one more poison.
Okay, I'll tap this to get a counter.
You need D10? I think I have a D.
No, I don't think I'll need to go up
Okay.
all the way up. Oh, for this or for this?
It's not for this.
No.
Okay.
I doubt that I'll
Where's
use
my-
that.
Where's my bag? Let's get a D10 for the. You get D10. The D10?
The
No, that's
8.
it. Green.
So each non-member we're gonna have equal, right? Yeah. 1-4.
It's great. I'm gonna redo it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? Destroy each non-tournament with mana value equal to number.
So it's equal, not
Oh,
equal
it's,
or less.
Yeah. It's I can't remember which bomb was it. It was there was a bomb like this,
Yes,
exactly the same.
Ratchet bomb.
Yeah, ratchet bomb. Exactly, that's the one.
Now that should be big enough to block that.
All right.
Go.
God damn it! What's wrong with my shuffling?
Now it's like mana screw, right?
It's one or the other. What the F is wrong with me?
Yep.
Ah. Go.
Here, take that up. 2. I'm in danger.
It's everything, right?
It's everything, including mine.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Hold back on this. Who else?
Oh, well, scope.
Oh.
Is this anytime? Land.
Rejuvenates. So land. I need huge trucks of land. Alright, goes.
In which case, enter sack this for all of our 2 drops.
Let's see if I can do something about that.
Yep.
Oh, no. Please go ahead.
There any indestructibility on some stuff?
I'm just trying to see what else I can do. Yeah, I think it's fine. Give me a sec.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright.
Give me back.
And then we'll do this is all of end of turn. Prologue to viruses.
Each
Opponent gets a poison counter, and I draw a card. I'm only playing it to draw a card. As these things go.
We need numbers.
Sweet. Island. Quicksilver Fisher, 5 mana, 4/3 flying, and there's a battlefield. I can draw a card and then discard it. Draw, then we discard a Maze Skullbomb. Good.
Ooh,
Actually, I'll swing with this. Take one.
Okay. One and was that? Oh, this is my first
Yeah.
one. Is it? Okay. Done. My turn.
Go.
Oh, great. Look at this. I am.
Big boy flyer. Big boy.
Yeah, I'm realizing that some of my cards are wrong. Like I really chose wrong cards.
I mean, it's the first time you've read a lot of the cards, so
Yeah, no, I probably wasn't thinking about it.
yeah. I always find it really difficult to actually like both, look at the like do the drafting, and that's why like actually whenever I stream Magic content, I play worse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or if I'm talking to somebody while playing, I just
Yeah. No, but this is why like I'm like doing it with you. It makes a lot more sense because it's easier for us to like take a break from having the conversation.
Yeah, right.
And like we can just focus a little bit on the game while it's on our turn and things like that. I don't like where I'm at right now, but it is a definitely better place than I was like a second ago. I'm gonna take a gamble.
All right, gambles is always good.
Have I placed a land yet?
You went first or second?
I went first, but I think I missed a land drop.
I also missed a land drop, so
Okay,
you
that
have
means
no.
I'm not. Okay. I'm gonna take a gamble.
Later on, like rewatch the VOD. It's like, dang it!
Yeah.
He has already did a land drop.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, god dang! Why didn't? Okay, go.
I guess the gamble didn't work out as well.
Could be better. Could have been more patient. I want to make a call simply because I was like, okay, maybe I can get my land drop in. Yep.
Let's do Main Skull Bomb. All will be 1. And swing in with a 4/3.
Okay. Down to
15.
Alright, cool.
Go.
So it's upon cast, right?
Which one? So whenever you put one or more counters on a permanent, so it depends on whether or not the permanent says whatever. But whenever the counter gets put onto the permanent. The best would be stuff like this or the synthesizer that puts a lot of audience.
Really weird problems. Go. Oh my, where I'm at.
Let's sack this to try.
When you draw?
Yep.
Actually, don't mind. It's fine.
that. Play another Quicksilver Fisher. It's the same thing. It's just
Oh, okay.
it's a different.
Let's draw a card.
And swing for 5.
Down to 10.
Oh.
Enter. Vanish into eternity.
Okay. Exile. Shit, I'd have sacrificed that land.
What blaster?
Yeah. Did you need like a double white?
Yeah. Not only that, it's just purely about what it can cast and how useful it is given the scenarios.
Yes.
So that one was there for a while for good reason, and then my deck's not meant to play into this time.
Yeah.
Like, but I got stuck with a bunch of stuff that, like, originally the intent was that the Masticore would help like get rid of stuff at this phase.
Yeah.
Never got any of it. Like it keeps getting like very weird timings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And other issues. So yeah, I am not happy ever today. I think I might be dead. This is 4-4-4.
Yeah, 4-4-1.
No.
Can go up to 4. Yes.
Yeah, 4-4-4. That's 12. That's I'm dead. I'm dead. They're all
Yeah.
flyers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm dead.
Yep.
I am dead. Just so you know.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like that would have. I mean, it wouldn't be great. I'm short by 1 still,
Yeah.
which is not fantastic. Yeah, this came in 1 turn late. I've been holding this for a long amount of time.
Yeah.
Everything else was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
it is not fantastic. Do we have time for one more?
I have enough. Yeah, I have enough time for one more game.
All right, thank you very much for obliging.
No worries. Thanks.
Yeah, MT has a schedule to.
Yeah. Every time. Yeah. One of those things juggling.
Hopefully, we'll get to do more of this week.
Yes.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
And we also still need to, I think, open up a pack in the stream.
Oh, should we just do it then? Like, I obviously have lost. I have lost so bad that I just want to I'm actively going like, is there something wrong with my deck? Oh, you're right. I just remembered there is something wrong with my deck. This card is wrong in this deck.
Well, unless you want me to go through your deck and make some suggestions.
I think I'm gonna try like without that. Like I just want to see where I'm gonna land with it.
Sure.
Where is this right now? Do I have anything that I can just throw in? Yeah, I think I got a couple of things. Right. Because there's a bunch of stuff that I know that I could just play.
I mean, this is decent.
No, it is. I was looking at something else.
Yeah.
I was looking at Rat King. I was like, I have one rat. No, I'm not playing Rat King.
No.
I have like one other rat. No, I'm not playing.
I mean, how big is the Rat King? Is it a 3-mana 3/3?
It's a 3/3.
I mean, 3-mana 3/3 is fine.
It's pretty decent, but it's double black.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't expect. Like I actually have more planes than I have swamps.
Okay.
But I still got flooded with
Yeah.
swamps, and I'm like, okay, like no, this is not your game. This is not your day. This is just not your day.
Who was it? I think one of my friends was saying that mana is sort of the mana colors and the land system and all that is the reason why he feels that Magic is sort of like an outdated game in comparison to what is a lot of the new card games.
So I actually take offense of that in part. This is the part where this channel really comes. It's actually meant to be focusing on. It's really about finding that thin line that fine line when it comes to game balancing and all that kind of stuff. People who look at that and like argue for that, they forget one simple thing. So now I'm just going to go into a quick rant on game theory here a little bit. So any game, right, actually has two big divisions. What is essentially a game engine, the rules of the game that are universally true, that are shared with everything else, the fundamentals of which you build your game on. And then there are the elements. The elements are basically the components, the individual ones, the cards in any card game are the elements. So the way it works,
Against odds.
okay, the way it works is that components are meant to compensate for where the engines fail. The idea is that your engine needs to be as simple as possible, so that there's enough for majority of the game to be understood and played.
Yep.
And then your elements come in to compensate for what you want to try and do. So things like color screwing and mana screwing are things that are supposed to be solved from the elements, not meant to be solved from the engine. Every individual color should have its answer for mana screws. Every part of its engine should have, every color should have its own answer to like potentially like mana, color correction and things like that. They could have more, they could have less, and they could even have like different attempts at it. I think every color has sort of, like in recent sets, more and more colors have figured out ways to do it. So I think that's exactly where it's supposed to land. Any impression otherwise about how Magic should not have it at all because every other game doesn't have it or anything else like that, it's mostly to do with because a lot of game designers, a lot of less experienced game designers who are not fond of that variety or that diversity, just automatically say, I don't want to do it. And then they stop thinking about it. They're not trying to solve the problem. They just said, I don't want the problem at all. But there are solutions to this problem that can be very meaningful. So, yeah. Nah.
Oh, that's fine. I go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, I'm going to start.
I always feel that this is, it's sort of like, it's like, yes, there's a lot of newer games, especially card games, like Hearthstone, right? Where the resource builds up over time automatically, which is definitely like sort of one way to design it. It's not better or worse from then.
I actually personally don't like it seems novel and in the beginning, but after you played it for a while, the problem with Hearthstone's one, right, is very much that consistency becomes flat. There is no diversity in play. The play is monotonous after a while. And you then ask yourself, like, okay, the only reason why you're playing certain turns is because you're just trying to, like, you're getting to that point where your game wins. There's a ticker to it, and there's nothing else to the game except that. And then you're just pacing against your opponents. There's a lot of monotony in that, and for me, I think that's actually a reason why Hearthstone is already fading, because that monotony is not great for a game, because you get bored, you get fixed within the pace.
My same issue with Shadowverse as well.
Same thing, exactly.
Deal 3 damage. So sorry, cast this. This triggers oil counter. This resolves. Deal 3 damage. Proliferate.
Right.
It's important just so that I get to this.
My turn.
Swing in for 1. And I always feel that a great part of a game is resource management and taking risk and allowing people to take risk based on that. It's just 1 mana to
No. It's to return the creature graveyard to my hand.
Sure. Does it draw a card as well?
Net draw.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's
I'm used to the old spell bombs where that doesn't happen. Swing for 1.
Damn it.
Go.
I wonder what I'm going to cost now.
Yep. Flashes in, tap that.
Tap it.
Yeah. It's because I have no other. I just wanted to play a creature.
All right, cool. Like, I want to be smart.
Swing in for 4.
Down to 14. Okay, this isn't a complete swing. Like, it's like based on the cards in your hand and everything else, like it's at least somewhat playable.
Go.
This is at least a match. So annoying.
It is how it goes sometimes with games of Magic. Do you not have anything to cast?
Yeah, not for now.
Okay. All will be 1.
Holy mother of farts.
Swing 4.
Yeah, sure. I'm down to 10.
Okay.
You done?
Yep.
End of turn, vanish into eternity.
Alright.
It's my only solve for it.
Let me do something fun with it, Jared.
No. My turn. Draw a card. No. What is this fun you speak of? It's nothing but lies.
Ooh, okay. That's a bit more difficult to code.
Oh, did you put the counter for the it's only 2 or thing? It's only 2.
Oh, I forgot to put for the all.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was like, I thought you.
8 damage is a lot.
Yeah, it is, right?
It's like
I have very few bombs. I have very few bombs.
It's a little Fisher, draw a card.
Can I tempt you with an attack?
I will attack with this once it has enough.
Can I tempt you with an attack?
Mace Ball Bomb.
Alright, cool. Oh yeah, it's
Take
4.
that one, take that one.
Oh no!
That at least still be able to swing in. So
Yeah, how
I'll
much?
take 3.
So 7.
Yep.
There's so much flying. There's so many things up in the air.
Well, you have the biggest one round. Because if you can deal with this, I don't think I can attack for a while.
Yeah, I can definitely deal with it. I just need to think about it a little bit. All right, cool. Just do this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
My solutions are very limited.
I mean, it's a good solution.
It's the same stuff. Go.
It's like it's a 2 mana rest, which
Yeah.
is originally 3 mana. So it's just
Arrest is better in a way. Wait.
no.
Does it reason to it too?
Yeah.
Can't attack or blow is like oh yeah, it is an arrest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cheaper arrest
Yeah,
that targets more things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's strictly better.
I can't. Oh, it is. Yeah. No, because I wanted to account for. I wasn't going to count planeswalkers because, when arrest came out, planeswalkers wasn't a thing.
Yeah, but this also hits.
Yeah. Artifact as well. So yeah, that's it.
We'll just play a maze, another maze, bomb.
You want to put another one?
Yes. You never know.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
Back one, draw a card.
But do you pay for that? Dude? Oh, it's paid
Yeah.
too. All right.
Uh,
But +3/+3 is not small.
it's not, but it's also sorcery only. So
Oh, okay.
I can't do it as a.
Yeah, but like if it's big enough, like what choice do I have?
Yeah, I know, but that's like it'll still trade. I don't have enough stuff to. The Aura Brusque Anointer deals 1 damage to that because I have 1.
Yes. I don't like where this is.
1 every because this also gets trampled. Just letting you know. Go.
Damn it.
The goal is to be able to push through all the damage.
Yeah, I know. Sacking goes.
Okay.
My turn, draw a card.
Yep.
I'm not using that. It's a May, right?
It's amazing.
Ah, thank God. All right, go. Oh, so it's a mini overrun.
It's a pump plus.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a walking overrun.
So let's first use that, targeting the Quicksilver Fisher.
All right.
Go up.
God, what a penis fly trap. Anyway.
7/6. Sure, if you're actually dead. But I was one of them. Yep. Ooh.
I offer it immortality.
Uh,
Yes, I can pay through.
that's awkward. Trample damage still goes through.
Nope. Double strike.
Yeah, but it's 7/6.
No, it dies first because it's death touch.
Oh, that's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I calculate that.
Good. So that's this trade's 3 damage to you.
It was all what
It was all
it was
Kakigori.
It's That's why I was like, starting going like, should I indestructible it? Should I indestructible it? It's too small. That trample's not gonna.
The double strike makes all the difference. Let's put in.
Oh God, this is gonna hurt like a bitch, isn't it? Anyway.
Go.
End of turn. Might. This is it?
Right,
Yeah,
and-
this is it.
Turn.
Yeah. It's an instant.
Oh, 3. Yeah. Mites. How many
Instant
mites do you need?
Do you have a might on your
Mites.
side?
Yeah.
Mites. Go mites. My turn, yeah?
Yep.
Damn it. Top decking.
Top decking.
Top decking.
Let's go.
Yes!
Oh. Not a land.
Huge trucks of land.
Mm.
Problem with the. Go!
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably gonna die. You're just gonna bolt me to death, aren't you?
If I have a bolt, I would.
Just bolt me to death.
2, 3, 4, 5. Quicksilver Fisher.
Oh God, that flying arm.
Drop. Discard.
You have a disproportionate number of these. Oh wait, do you only
I have 2. I have 2.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's just nice.
Passer? I can't attack with any of that. A little bit of breathing space.
Too late.
I think you're still like, I can't.
Cool.
I could. You need to kill one of
It's not-
these.
So it's flash. It's not.
Yeah,
fire.
yeah. You need to kill one of these, then you're fine.
It's not. I'm not.
Yeah. So either I just overcommit.
Could have went with red.
Oh, I guess I'll just win with these 2 then.
Yeah. Block 1 die.
Yep.
It was a land. So this was exactly the case, right? This was the case where I was hoping for this.
Yep.
Or straight up like my finisher, which is like that White Sun.
Yeah. No, the white sun's good because you gain X life as well, and
Yeah,
that gives
correct.
you the breathing space.
Correct, exactly. So the whole point was that I was hoping for White Sun.
Yeah.
There were a lot of stuff that was just like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to throw it full. I'm not gonna be able to throw anything. And so,
Okay. I also had a
Yeah.
counter spell in him.
yeah, the Friction Might was more to like it was just there to to see what my options could be.
Yeah, no. It's they can't block. I keep forgetting that
They can't block.
Yeah, dang it.
Yeah, they can't block.
I keep forgetting about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. They were there, as I said, like they were there just to.
Yeah.
They were there to sort of to see what my options were.
Yep.
It's to see if I land anything that I can force an attack with, then I wanted to make sure that I had something that can attack.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll leave off screen, but
Let's open up the.
Let's open up the pack. So, as the guy who won,
Yep.
MT here gets to open up
Yay!
the pack.
My phone doesn't die. Give me.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna do the weird thing. I'm going to where's my screen? I am going to. Oh, my icon is very ugly right now.
Is it?
But oh well. Yeah. Anyway, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to flip it because
because it's on from my point of view.
yes. So you get to open this,
Okay.
and so that it's easier for everyone to enjoy the beauties of what we'll be looking at.
See if I can open this.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
I love the fact that because the sleeves are color coordinated, you'd always be able to tell where we are.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking. So there's always that's the blue side and this is the red side. We don't need a mat for it.
Yes. All right.
Ching.
So I forgot how many rares you have in this because this
I think it's all rare. I think
no, it's all foil.
all four.
It's all foil,
But it's not all rare.
including the Phyrexian.
All right. Wow, that's nice. That looks sexy.
Yeah. So first we have Thane of Contracts. 3 mana, 3/4. Other creatures you control get -1/-1. So it's
Okay.
makes your stuff smaller.
You're right.
3 mana, tap it, return target creature card from a graveyard to the battlefield. If this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it and put it anywhere else.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's a micro resurrector that taps.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because it taps, it doesn't become an engine, and because it costs so much, it's really difficult to fuck around with.
Correct. And because it's the creatures that it brings back only gets to bring back once, we have that it gets exiled.
Yeah, correct. So that's not fantastic. I hate it. It's fun, but it's so limited.
We have a Jor Cardine First Gold Warden. 2 mana, 2/2 trample. Whenever Jor Cardine First Gold Warden attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then, if the power 4 or greater, draw a card. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a nice one.
This one is a common is. Ooh. So I'm not sure if people can see, but this is a special sort of stamp.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. There's so there's a little bit of finishing on it where you can see the Phyrexian symbols against it. So it's really hard. I don't know whether the camera can catch it, but you can see there we go. There we go. You can see it there.
Yeah.
You can see it there. Yeah. There, that little sparkly like snowflakes in the rain kind of thing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's really cool.
And then we have an uncommon Canker Bloom, which is whatever. Also a common Spine Cultivator.
Hey, they all all alt arts.
Yes. So this would all of the stuff is alt art as well.
Hmm.
So we have Synthesis Pod. I actually haven't seen this one because this is not part of the main set. This is part of the Commander set.
All right.
So I think it's similar to a Birthing Pod. So it's
It sounds like it.
1 Phyrexian blue. Exile a spell you control, which we'll get into. Target opponents reveal card from the top of their library. Target opponent reveals card from the top of the library until they reveal a card with mana value equal to 1 plus that exiled spell mana value. Exile that card, then the play shuffles. You may cast that exile card without paying its mana cost. Okay, so yes, absolutely a commander only card. So the way this works is in the middle of casting something, you so it needs to be on the stack. You can activate this and then you exile it, and then you shift through your opponent's deck for a more expensive card and then cast that. So interesting, fun. I would play that in EDH. but it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a strictly worse off birthing pod.
Well, birthing pod is creatures, and you can control it because it's it's your own deck, right?
Right, exactly. It's a strictly worse birthing pod.
Yeah. That's why it's like target opponent reveals cards. Okay.
And it reveals until you get one, is it?
Yeah,
like one up.
One up, yeah.
So that's even worse.
Yeah, it's
because
absolutely random.
Yeah, because you can't even search for it.
Correct.
Because birthing pod allows you to search
Yes.
for it. Wow.
So yes, it's like I said. It's fun because of that like roulette type of thing.
Yeah, it's a penal fly trap.
Yes.
Like it is just horrible. It is a like I'm gonna go ahead and say like if you can come up with a deck for it, great. Because there are cards that like allow you to like slide cards into opponent's decks and shit. But like holy crap, that is just insane.
Yeah, so next card is Oragos Forge. Artifact at the beginning of combat on your turn, 3 mana. Put an oil counter on it, then create X1 red Phyrexian horror creature tokens with trample and haste, where X is the number of oil counters on it, and sacrifice that token at the beginning of next step. So this is an interesting part in Limited because it's an eventuality. Sooner or later, you're going to get into a 21 red Phyrexian horror creature token with trample and haste, and you're just going to kill the opponent.
Yeah. This one, I think it's probably a reference to the Phyrexian Forge. I think from Uzar's saga. I think at the time.
Yep. You get the XX.
Yeah, you pay X life, then you get you just generate XX creature tokens.
Yeah. We have another version of Jorg Kardim, different art.
Oh, hey, so many friends.
We have a foil mountain. It's nice. I quite like this mountain.
Stacks of lemons.
Another uncommon, Venomous Brutalizer. 4 mana, Toxic 3. When enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 if you do Proliferate, which is actually a really, really good card.
Yeah.
Thrumming Bird. An old reprint. Flying 2 mana. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, Proliferate.
The best friend of all Proliferators.
Yep. Surgical Skull Bomb.
We've had
that.
we shot about.
Yep. So I think I opened it the wrong way.
Oh, right.
Because it's all the commons. Like I opened the rares first.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Unfortunate. So we have Chimney Rabble, Offer Immortality, and Indoctrination.
So here's the thing though.
Yeah.
Like everything else, save for these 4.
Yes. Yep.
Which I think might be also a random thing, right?
Yep.
So like these 2 are the only ones that are strictly speaking alt arts. Like these are all. This is exactly the same art that I had. Like, and unless that was an alt art, which I don't think it is.
No, it's not. It's not. So these are alt arts, and then you have one which is the stamp card, I guess, whatever you want to call it, and then we have 2 borderless cards.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether this one is an alt art or not.
Right. It's kind of funky, right?
Yeah.
So, but then the other thing that I'm not sure about is this supposed to be? Is this a guarantee? Like, what is guaranteed in these packs?
Does
it say?
The joke is that even Wizards doesn't know what's inside the collector boosters.
Like, who? Like, hey, I guess all random is all random, right?
Yeah, I know it's like 3 rares, 3 rares / mythic. We did not get a mythic, which is sad. But it is what it is. I think overall it's all right, but it's not fantastic. I think we got better packs.
Yeah, we definitely got better packs. Like, I think there are more interesting things with our packs.
Yeah. All right.
So I guess that's it for us today. My system is lagging, so I have this weird worry right now as to whether we can even end the stream properly. But I think that's more or less it. I think, do you have any finishing thoughts that you want to like share about like everything that's been happening? Yeah, and
I think that we've seen that communities have real power in making some decisions, and I think that if there are things that you do voice things, I'm wary of sometimes the loudest voice in the internet having power, because that's always a
problem.
That's always a problem. But I do think that OGL, what happened in OGL at the end of the day, is unfortunate, but the end is as best as an end that we can get, which is that the OGL did not change.
Right. I don't know. I think, believe it or not, I think it strangely marks the end of DnD as we know it. I really do. I think the damage to the brand and to the faith, sounds like I'm talking about religion, but it really is to some degree, is so bad that I think Paizo, it has given more reason for the community who cares to put more emphasis in trying to support people like Paizo.
Yep.
Like, at its best, DnD would track along and there's no major issues. It would just continue as it is. But unless, once again, the higher-ups, the ones who were responsible with this move and everything else, comes out and says, we're sorry, we made a mistake, we're stepping back, we're stepping down, right? We're not going to get involved anymore in anything to do with in WotC. And keep in mind that they really need to resign, because for this to be really buried as an issue, they cannot be part of the decision-making process at all. That means either they are demoted severely to the point that, you know, hey, it's going to be a massive drop, which would
They're
be,
not going to do.
which I would say that it would probably be less of a chance of happening than them resigning. Versus, and as long as they are perceived to be in some form of like power or influence, right, within the company, either whether it's within WotC or Hasbro or anything else, right, like, it will always be a looming problem that they think that, hey, this, like, no, everyone will have reason to doubt whether that influence will come back.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of people losing their livelihoods for making bad decisions. I really am not. I'm not saying that you can't learn from all these kind of things. You really can't. But so far, no one has come up and taken responsibility for all of this. Truly taken responsibility over this. No one on the higher up said, this was done under my watch, I made a mistake, I'll make sure it'll never happen again. You know, things like that.
Yep.
No one has done that. So players need to be assured, or people need to be assured, right, that those who are in the positions of making decisions recognize the mistake that they did and make sure that they won't do it again. Because at this moment, you have no reason to think that they won't try it again.
Yep.
You have every reason instead to think that they might try it again when you're not looking.
Yep.
So, yeah, that at least for me is, and because, as we mentioned before, like, there is a next to zero chance, there's a negligible chance that anyone within DnD or anybody else within the company would actively come out and say, we effed up and we're going to step back and we're going to resign and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, short of, like, because there's no proof that any one of them will do anything like this. Yeah, I don't see DnD recovering in the same way. Like, the good faith and the good name is gone.
Yeah. I think as we, just a quick aside for our discussion last night, I think that I am more of an optimist in terms of how DnD is, while you're more of an optimist in terms of how humanity is.
Yes.
I think that I don't think that this is the end of DnD as we know it.
Oh, but I mean, so as we know it is the keyword.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I like, you're not going to see people looking at DnD as the be all end all. Like, if it's going to be your first point of entrance and people are going to, like, I think you're going to see more and more advocates for the other systems.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Those who are enthused and who have given a lot of their lives to DnD after everything that's happened are more likely than not to feel betrayed.
Yep.
And to feel like they should be throwing their lives behind the other systems now more than anything else. So, and that feeling is not something that can go away easily, all things considered. Even if they stay, the damage is there, and like, everyone's just going to be more cautious. Everyone, the instant a company burns you, right, your instinct is to reduce your risk.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to take it for granted anymore.
Yeah. All right. That's all
So yeah, so I guess that's more or less it for us today. If you like what I'm going to do a standard YouTube thing before we go off. If you like what we've done, please like and subscribe. I'm only going to do this once. I've seen people do these live streams and they do it like every 15 minutes or every time they have like a certain number of people tick up on their viewer count. I don't even know my viewer count right now. I'm guessing it's next to 0.
But it is not 0.
If it's not 0, I'll be really, really happy. I wish I have my studio mode.
It's not 0 even if I take myself out.
That's fair. Like, so yeah. So anyway, but yeah, please do like and subscribe. If you're new, there is no such thing as being. Why am I even asking? You're definitely new to this channel. This channel just opened yesterday.
Yes.
But yeah, the channel is really, really new. I mean, I've been streaming for a while, and this channel is the next step for me because I've been doing sort of game streams and discussions and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is, I've never really done, like, despite having some really interesting and good conversations in the past, I've never really made it a huge effort to try and upload everything. It's a mistake on my part. And also between all the trouble with Twitch and everything else, I've just not really done it as much. YouTube is probably the better home for me. I should have realized this earlier, but I'm finally here. So with any luck, yeah, some of you guys will see this, some of you guys will like this. And I hope that some of the perspectives that we've shared today could be a little bit more, like, would add into the conversation that you're having around these kind of topics. This is really what I opened this channel for. This is very much about adding considerations, fair considerations, into the narratives. Because I think there are a lot of people who go into these conversations who are very close to the conversations, rightfully so, who have reasons to feel the way they do, and sometimes they are not necessarily seeing some angles that I feel like it's important to to have a more balanced one. But keep in mind, I say that with a very, very large grain of salt, and I say grain because there's one thing there's a pet peeve of mine, and I want to highlight that one as well. Like, I really hate people who try to not have an opinion simply by saying that all opinions are valid. They're not. Stuff like that. They're not. That just put it out there and make it very, very plain and simple. It is not. Because you can't, like, if a doctor tells me that eating cheese is not going to cure my fever, I'm not going to listen to anyone else who tells me otherwise. And if I eat cheese and I don't get better every time, then obviously someone's lying to me,
But eating cheese while you're lactose intolerant is still worth it. Don't let anyone else ever tells you otherwise.
But yes, I mean, that's probably a really bad example. But yeah, if you like, there's definitely going to be exceptions to a lot of these kind of things. The way you draw the line is one of the reasons why misinformation is rampant. So, but at the same time, and the very same reasons, I'm going to be human. I'm going to be, like there's going to be flaws in my arguments. There's going to be limitations to what I understand. But I do want to have that conversation honestly and sincerely. This is what this is about. This is about talking about everything that's happened and saying, hey, why it's happened, why we think it's happened. A lot of it is speculation for obvious reasons, because a lot of things are not backed. Anything that can be backed, please go watch the videos that I've linked inside the description below. They're all there. Everyone has shown their homework, and there's no reason to not believe in. So it's fantastic. But at least for us, between the two of us, it's a lot of us just processing this.
Yep.
And try to make sense of it as much as we can. So yeah, so hopefully our process helps you guys as well. And I hope to be able to do a little bit more of this someday. All right, cool. All right, thanks guys. I think that's all of it for us for now.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see you guys soon again.
See you guys.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Oops. Where's the freaking button? All right, here we go. All right.